What's up, everybody? How you doing today? Almost said this evening, and then I almost said this afternoon, so I went with the day. How you doing today? That works, right?
That's 800-597-0315.
That's what we are going to roll with.
597-0315. Or go to
It could be.
Since 1985,
I could have been up for 2 straight days without any sleep. Oh, wait! That has happened. We'll see by the end of the weekend. See how this goes. I've got a bad feeling about tomorrow.
Call me at 574-294-5678. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and in any location.
Tracy gifted a sub to Haas for Mayor on Twitch yesterday. That was pretty cool. Thank you so much, Tracy. I didn't even notice that until today, because I am terrible at following my notifications on Twitch. But that's okay.
You own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying damaged houses too. I buy houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and foreclosure houses.
You shouldn't call women houses. That went out like in the 1970s. I assume that's what he means when he says he buys damaged ones. Damaged houses. You know, brick house. He's looking at me like like it's wrong. I don't know. I'm just trying to make sure that he doesn't offend anybody.
Your breaking news and weather station.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson, in desperate need of a shower. I am greasy. I am unslept and unclean, without a doubt. So, if you watch the live stream and I seem to glisten a little bit more than usual, perhaps you think you're watching, what was that stupid vampire movie?
I believe you're talking about Twilight,
yes,
Casey.
If you think you're watching Twilight by watching my live stream on YouTube, I assure you it is just that I need a shower. Anyway, go to youtube.com/Casey the host or twitch.tv/Casey the host. Make sure you subscribe and follow while you're there. Thumbs up on YouTube if you would, please. That helps me go after their algorithm, which of course irritates them, because anytime they can keep people from watching my stream, they will do so. And they've been pretty effective at it lately. Been actually a pretty big decline in the number of total views after a week from what usually is the case from just 2 weeks ago. So pretty interesting to see that happen. We get little notifications when they're messing with us. And then, of course, what we ended up finding out is that a lot of the videos end up getting limited playback capabilities and things of that nature. So it's just one of those ways that they mess with us. All right. Phone number 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. And please put MNC at the beginning of that message. Also want to thank our sponsors, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle. And if you mention me, you will get 50% off your range time. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information. So yesterday, I made sure that you knew that I was of the opinion that the president was being a little too celebratory about this whole ceasefire nonsense, okay? I was hopeful that it would work, but as I pointed out, the Kurds say that this conflict dates back to 612 BC, all right? So this predates, I just found out today, that predates their faith. So this is a huge thing. Obviously, their faith is a big part of it, but this is something that they say dates back to 612 BC. Okay, now whether it actually does, because there's some historians who dispute that, I'm just saying that that's their belief. The Kurds believe this is an issue to 612 BC, which Joe reminds us means before Christ. So that's a long time ago. Last I heard, he came here quite a while ago. I don't even think they had the light bulb yet. So you got the Kurds, you got the Turks. This has been an ongoing issue since the late 70s. The open insurgency happened, I think it was in 1984, and they basically been shooting each other ever since. Okay, and obviously the Kurds are an ally There are some groups with the Kurds that we are more allies with than others. I do see people still running around and saying the PKK are communists. They're not. They used to be. Now, they are a form of socialist, but they are not Leninist. They're not communist. They call the form of government that they support Democratic Confederacy, but there's no personal property ownership. It's all communal, okay? But you do elect your officials, right? So it's still a socialist system, but it's not communist. So again, people, and I've seen this a lot on the right, the PKK, they see, it stands for the People's Something Party, and they just automatically assume it's communist. And it got started that way, okay? They were communists, but they abandoned that several decades ago. But the conflict between the two sides has been ongoing. So when the president said, "Hey, we got the ceasefire," I was happy. It's like, all right, cool, it's something. Maybe it'll stick. But I also warned you yesterday that ceasefires in the Middle East tend to not work very well, right? So here we have the Kurds saying that Turkey violated the ceasefire immediately after the ceasefire went into effect. Remember, the whole point of the ceasefire was the Kurds were going to have 5 days to get out of the region, to get out of the area, to pull back from the safe zone, okay? And then Turkey would go back across their border, and then we would have an end to open hostilities. Turkey wouldn't be in Syrian territory. Syria wouldn't be threatening war with Turkey, and it'd be a whole thing. I'll get to the Syria-Turkey thing here in just a minute, okay? So the Kurds are saying that the Turks violated the ceasefire right after it went into effect. Now, if you look at the Turkish foreign minister, Mevlut Cavusoglu, he told reporters on Thursday that the ceasefire brokered by the United States was, quote, not a ceasefire, and that Turkey will only withdraw from Syria when the Kurds evacuate the region. So the entire world is like, all right, cool, ceasefire. Turkey's like, yeah, not really. No, not interested in a ceasefire. It's not a ceasefire. We'll stop when they leave. Basically, the Kurds have to retreat. It's not a ceasefire. The Kurds are like, they're shooting at us. We're trying to get out. Turkey will remain in Syria to help repopulate Syrian Kurdistan with some of the mostly Arab 4 million Syrian refugees in Turkey, a move that the Kurds have repeatedly warned would result in the ethnic cleansing of their people out of the region. So there's a couple of additional things beyond the conflict that the Kurds say dates back to 612 BC. You've got millions of Syrian so-called refugees, right, who are in Turkey. And, of course, Turkey doesn't know what to do with 4 million people. So 4 million people have been basically in these refugee camps and that sort of thing. So Turkey's position is, we got to get rid of them. We can't keep them all, right? So, okay, the entire world seems to be okay with Turkey deporting immigrants, but, hey, the United States can't do it. So Turkey, it wants to send them all back to Syria. Well, Turkey says, hey, wait a minute. We've also got an issue with the Kurds on the border there. What if we send the Syrian refugees back to Syria, but we repopulate them in the area of the Kurds? And then they might take out the Kurds and we don't have to worry about it anymore, which, of course, is what the Kurds are saying. The Kurds are saying, well, no, none of these people belong in our territory. This is Kurdistan. They don't belong here. And if they're here, there's going to be lots more of the Syrian refugees than the Kurds, and that the Kurds could be wiped out. So this is a whole thing with them. So now this is why we are looking at so much turmoil in the region. All right. So again, you could be one of those people who says, I want to totally be responsible for keeping the peace with all of this that dates back to 612 BC in perpetuity forever, and let's station American troops there forever. That's fine. If you want to be that camp, the president's not in that camp. All right. The foreign minister insisted that Ankara will stick to the plan, which Turkey calls Operation Peace Spring, and that it had only agreed to, quote, pause in bombing Kurdish territory to allow Syrian Kurdish People's Protection Units, that's the YPG and the YPJ, a formerly U.S. allied anti-jihadist militia, to leave the region. So again, they're saying it's not a ceasefire, it's just a pause. So just want everybody to know, they don't get out of here, we're going to start bombing them again. So it's kind of consistent with what the statements were yesterday. We talked about it being a pause yesterday. Turkey is making sure that everybody understands that this is not a peace accord, okay? Turkey is cooperating with the Free Syrian Army, a broad umbrella group of militias, some with ties to al-Qaeda. Thank you, John McCain. that arose to overthrow Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad. Not even sure you could actually call him a dictator, but I digress. Assad is not part of the ceasefire deal and announced that he would use all legitimate means to expel Turkey from Syria. So that brings us to Assad now, because keep in mind, this is all happening in his country. So Assad is like, all right, I'm not going to let Turkey just come into my country and start bombing things and invade. Essentially, it's an invasion of Syrian territory. Even though the Kurds say it's their territory, it's still within the borders of Syria. So Assad is like, I don't want Turkey in here either. So now Assad, who I'm sure is contacting the Russians and saying, will you back me if we get into a shooting conflict with Turkey, because Turkey is connected with NATO, and the Russians might be going back and forth on that, because obviously if NATO countries get involved and the U.S. gets involved, it becomes a whole brouhaha. So Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad commented personally on Turkey's invasion of Syrian Kurdistan Thursday, warning that his military will respond and confront Turkey's terrorism in all its forms in any region of Syrian territory. And for the record, Syria cannot even remotely come close to going toe-to-toe with Turkey. Can't happen, okay? They are woefully outclassed. But if they've got the Russians there, that changes things a little bit. So Syria is ramping up for conflict with Turkey. Turkey is probably just going to swat them away like they're a gnat. Again, unless the Russians get involved, which of course means that we get involved again. It's a whole thing. But the Kurds are saying that the ceasefire has been violated. I don't know specifically if it has. Okay, it would be in their interest to deceive the world that the ceasefire was violated, so that way they could go out there and claim that Turkey was the bad guy. All right, which I'm not saying that they are doing that. I don't have any evidence of them doing that. It's just something that we see routinely with these things in the Middle East. So this is going south pretty quick, and we are day one into a 5-day plan. So just so you know, this thing might go south over the weekend. Keep an eye on it. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
What is up, people?
You have any sick jokes for you coming out?
You are damn right. I got one. All right. All natural save day.
Let's look at your 5-day forecast. Starting out today with some sunshine, seeing a little bit more clouds in the afternoon hours. We'll see a high temperature right around 58 degrees, dropping down to 40 overnight tonight with mostly clear skies. And as we move throughout the day tomorrow, we'll notice more and more clouds and only a slight chance for us in the late afternoon to evening hours.
Oh, did somebody comment about Hillary and Tulsi?
Warmer Sunday, 66 with partly sunny to mostly sunny skies. But on Monday, that's where we're going to see more showers, maybe even some rumbles of thunder as another strong fall system works its way into Michiana. We can even see some pretty windy conditions.
Yep, Kathy was posting. Yeah, I put that story up there in my. Well, did I put it on Facebook or just put it in my show prep? I might have just put it in my show prep.
52 degrees with a slight chance for some showers. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, a meteorologist out in County.
95.3 MNC and final
Yeah, Hillary is. She's special. Special.
Annual noise. Saturday, November 2nd at Center 615 in Elkhart. Our special guests are Fox News host and best-selling author Brian Kilmeade, and appearing on the noise stage for the very first time, townhall.com editor, Fox News contributor, and best-selling author General admission tickets are on sale now for just $40, and each attendee will receive one copy of Brian's brand new book, Sam Houston. Tickets are available now at 95.3MNC.com.
Oh, wow.
I had a thing, but I don't remember what it is.
Okay.
So, I don't know if you know who...
Are you giving me a Blizzard update? Because I have another Blizzard update.
No.
Oh, okay.
So Ace Watkins.
I know that name.
He is a hard drive magazine person.
Okay.
And he has a parody account called GamerPress 2020.
Okay.
Where he's running for president.
Okay.
One of his most recent tweet is the fact that Mayor Pete insists that everyone call him Mayor Pete is a sign of low confidence. When I become president, I'm not going to make everyone call me Gamer President Ace, because you'll just look at me and think that guy's Gamer President, and you'll be right. Just that first line is just a little on the nose.
Yep. I think we said something to that effect early on, didn't we?
Sure we did.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me.
No, but good for him. That's it. I mean, if you're running for president, it seems a little weird to have everybody calling you mayor, right? You're supposed to be called with the highest title that you get.
Here's all you need to know. The Brick, Sunday, October 20th, 2 to 6 p.m.
And Miller,
Just call me President Pete.
right? Just call me PB. But the
You're in charge of hiring. And
Miller in
indeed,
Elkhart,
solutions.
his signs say Mayor Miller because he was the mayor
Let a candidate show that
previously.
you're the right hire.
It's genius.
We'll also have
I
a
mean-
dolphin chatter excitedly in front of the
I mean,
perfect
you know, don't use your name. No, I'm Mayor Miller because I
candidate.
literally was mayor,
But
you
skills
a-holes.
tests, that's a
Now, if he could just stop passing out
research by
on
Silk Road shows
stage
Indeed
because of his
delivers
irregular
3 times
heartbeat,
more
that would be
hires
nice.
than any other job site.
But he keeps
Visit
blacking out.
Indeed.com/promo today and get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply.
Welcome back to Amazon Prime One Day
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Delivery Trivia. Now to the next question. If Adam can get a chainsaw in one day with Amazon Prime One Day Delivery, and Sharon can get a leaf blower in one day with
What is up with Killmeat here lately? I don't know what you're referring to, John, 'cause I don't listen to his show. So I didn't know.
Pretty good.
Correct. Introducing One Day Delivery from Amazon Prime. Order from millions of items.
Is ABC over there filming Turkey attacking Syria? No, I'm pretty sure they're going through Pixabay for stock footage.
Father, running as Republican for mayor of South Bend. 50 years of one-party rule has left our city with a soaring crime rate, few jobs, broken roads, and failing schools.
I drove deeper into South Bend than I've ever been today.
Really?
Yep. I didn't realize there was that much city territory over on that side. I mean, it's not like built up or anything, but I didn't realize that there was that much like territory over there. And I did run into a lot of Haas signs, so I don't think I saw a Mueller sign.
I didn't see really anything.
Who knows? He might not even have signs. He's probably like, this is such a slam dunk. I'm just going to save the money. It is a good way to lose the race. What? Oh my god. Guess what just magically appeared on my allnaturalcbd.org website? You know, they had the lotion. You know, they had the bath bombs. They got the gummies.
Oh yeah, gummies and
They-
edibles, yeah.
They got the gummies.
Gummies, edibles.
$10 for a 6-pack. Oh, yeah. Well, now I need to send Joanne a message. I want to try the gummies. I really do need to do some research. Can I use a CBD bath bomb on my kids? Because if I can, and it'll calm them down and put them to bed, I'm going to do that every night. Every single night. Here we go.
Talk 95 3MC.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. You know what? It happened to me again last night. So I'm sitting there. I'm minding my own business. I am trying to go to sleep. And there goes my neck. Neck pain on the opposite side of my neck this time around. So, yep, that hurt. And what did I do? I fumbled through the dark looking for my CBD lotion. My all-natural CBD lotion. And do you know where it was? Not on my nightstand. Do you know why? Because family members love it so much, they come into my room and they steal it from me. That's what happens. This is how good this stuff is. So I ended up finding it in the common bathroom, and I went ahead and applied it to my neck, and wouldn't you know it, same effect. Neck pain went away, was able to go back to bed and get 2 hours of sleep, which was my total for the last 2 days. The CBD lotion is phenomenal stuff. So again, it's one of those things. I get these neck kinks and everything. I sleep weird. So I get these neck kinks, and this is then the only thing that I have been able to use over the past several years that almost instantly and effectively gets rid of that pain so I can go back to bed. You know, obviously, if you get up and you have that pain, you can massage it, you can rub it. Yeah, it'll relieve it a little bit, but it never really goes away. You can take a pill, okay? That may or may not work. And then, of course, it takes time for that to work when you really just want to go back to bed. Then you're up anyway, and you're dealing with the pain. Well, the CBD lotion from Naturals, again, allnaturalcbd.org is the website, but natural CBD lotion that I use is, again, near instant, phenomenal stuff. We were actually doing this on the live stream yesterday. There is a popular chain drugstore, which is really pushing that they sell CBD products. So I went to their website and I compared natural CBD lotion with every product on their website. And you know what? It was either half the price for a higher strength, it was higher strength, or it was 4 times as large with the same strength for half the price. Or less. Actually, there was one where it was $50 and it was 1/4 the size of this one, and yet it was less strength. This is full spectrum, naturally occurring CBD. There's no THC in this stuff. It is all grown, made, processed, everything right here in the United States of America, veteran-owned company. Here's how you get it. allnaturalcbd.org. Use coupon code KC10. allnaturalcbd.org, coupon code KC10, or you can use that same coupon code at any local eSigWorks location, and they will give you my 10% discount. allnaturalcbd.org. All right, here we go. Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney's a monumental idiot. All right, there you go. We've got that. I think I can pretty much shut the show down after that. So Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney is running around and talking about how our America's hands are going to be stained with blood and everything else because of this Kurdish withdrawal dealio. And I just wanted to remind everybody, in 2007, a Senator Mitt Romney, who's a Republican from Utah, who's been, again, just attacking everything about this. But back in 2007, okay, he had a very different view from what he's saying now. On Thursday, shortly after the Trump administration reached a 5-day ceasefire or pause agreement with Turkey to allow Kurdish forces to withdraw, Romney delivered a speech from the floor of the Senate excoriating Trump's policy. Quote, "It's argued that the Kurds were fighting for themselves. Of course they were. That's the nature of an alliance," Romney said. "We fight together, each pursuing our own vital interests. The decision to abandon the Kurds violates one of our most sacred duties. It strikes at American honor. What we have done to the Kurds will stand as a bloodstain in the annals of American history." Now, like I've told you before, giving the history of this, there are presidents going all the way back to Bush Sr. who have abandoned the Kurds as well. In fact, you could make the argument that President Trump has abandoned the Kurds less than any of his predecessors, even though he has technically abandoned them somewhat in this one particular region of Syria, not the other Kurdish areas in the country. Remember, they're in 4 countries, or I should say in the world, not one country. But however, in 2007, he was running for president for the first time. And Romney took a somewhat different view of the Kurds and their broader national cause. In an essay for Foreign Policy magazine, regarded as a definitive statement of his foreign policy views at the time, Romney warned that, quote, "Kurdish nationalism could destabilize the border with Turkey." He meant that a rocky border with Turkey, but Kurdish nationalism is widely recognized as a force throughout the region. Romney's statement in full context was as follows. "Today, the nation's attention is focused on Iraq. All Americans want U.S. troops to come home as soon as possible." Now, apparently not, because anytime President Trump tries to bring somebody home, everybody has a collective conniption fit and goes into seizures. But walking away now or dividing Iraq up into parts and walking away later would present grave risks to the United States and the world. Iran could seize the Shiite South, Al-Qaeda could dominate the Sunni West, and Kurdish nationalism could destabilize the border with Turkey. A regional conflict could ensue, perhaps even requiring the return of U.S. troops under far worse circumstances. That's interesting. Now, of course, you could easily talk about him saying we shouldn't be pulling people out, and there's a fair point, but he did have a very different view of Kurdish nationalism then versus what he has now. Although technically his position is somewhat consistent because he's out there saying that we shouldn't have left. Going back in 2007, we shouldn't leave because it'll cause this instability. And now he's kind of saying the same thing, but he still harbors a very different view of the Kurds. Now, again, I've done my best to kind of let you know that there are different groups of Kurds. Okay, so the Kurds are not monolithic, right? First of all, they're in 4 countries. Kurdistan spans 4 countries. Okay, now that's not an official nation or plot. It's a region. Kurdistan's a region. So it's in 4 countries. The Kurds, different groups, are in those areas, and they're very territorial to their historic land. Now, when you're dealing with the Kurds versus Turkey, like I said, that goes back, according to the Kurds, to 612 BC. So this is a very ancient conflict for them. even though the modern iteration of that is in the late 70s and the early 80s. So for them, this is a very, very, very big deal. The United States hasn't abandoned the Kurds under Trump in other areas. It's just this one area where, by the way, over the past several years, these two sides have been shooting at each other. But it is interesting because yesterday we were talking about politicians kind of changing their opinion on stuff. And boy, do they do that an awful lot within just a short span of time. So back in 2007, Romney felt very differently about the Kurds and their nationalism as he does today, but still interesting nonetheless. We've got more coming up. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
Michiana Crime Stoppers made the announcement Friday, just days after videos of the suspect vehicle were released. And the Turgeon was struck and killed near the Linebacker Lounge last Sunday. The SUV involved in the crash has specific brake lights with the horizontal section of lighting at the bumper area.
If Romney had even one testicle when he debated Obama, he would have won the 2012 election. Unfortunately, he probably wouldn't be any better off than we were in 2016. Well, I mean, he was right about Russia. I mean, there was that. So who knows? That might have ended up differently. Hey, Tracy, how you doing? That is true. Trump would not have won in 2016 if Romney had beaten Obama. That is very true. Let's see. Probably wouldn't have even gotten in the race. Kilmeade was seatmates with Schumer at that hugely popular fundraiser dinner in NYC. Kilmeade said it was good to hear Chuck's perspective. Interesting. Really? I'd have needed Rolaids for dessert. Yeah, that's kind of Kilmeade's thing, though. Jackie Walorski and 3 others are joining the Dem on the pullout. Okay, thank you, Connie. But that's kind of Kilmeade's thing. He tries to be middle ground. You know, he'll give you his opinion, but he tries to be welcoming to everybody. So that's something that he's known for. Look at Brooklyn Beatty back at work doing her jobby job instead of doing the mornings. Look at that. Actually got my news person back. At least temporarily. Who knows what's happening now?
Is satisfied with it, and we are in a very strong position.
The president says there was some mortar attacks and sniper fire in the region.
Well, I'm thinking we probably won't be doing the haunted house tomorrow, Tracy, because I think I'm going to do the chili cook-off over at Indian. And so that leaves Sunday. This all depends on what's happening with doctor's appointments and all that other stuff, too. So we shall see. But I think Saturday is going to be a little difficult at 7 p.m. Wait, is it 7 p.m. or 7 a.m. that you guys open? I assume 7 p.m. Yeah, I assume so, but you never know. I just figured I'd double check. That would be a long day. That is for sure. Plus, that's when it's getting dark. Would make perfect sense.
Heating specialist first warning forecast.
The rest of the day, we're going to notice a few more clouds this afternoon and a warmer high temperature, right around 58 degrees. Dropping down to 40 overnight tonight with mostly clear skies and warmer for tomorrow with a high of 63. Sunshine in the morning hours, but more clouds in the afternoon and a slight chance for a shower as we head towards the evening hours.
Let's see who the Republicans are who voted against Trump's border funding.
Soybeans and wheat. I'm Andy Eubank. Hoosier Ag today with the Friday closing farm market report. Disappointing export sales in corn. That market traded lower. And beans had a
Roy Blunt, Susan Collins, Mike Lee, Lisa Murkowski, Rand Paul, Rob Portman, Mitt Romney, Marco Rubio, Pat Toomey, and Roger Wicker. Those are the ones who voted against the border wall funding.
Beans 9.34 up 2.5 cents.
Some of them are obvious because they always vote against it. Others are a little bit more disingenuous to their electorate.
Today, 113.62, and December lean hogs down 20 at 67.95. This update brought to you by IOM Grain.
I figured it was PM. Just in case y'all were weird, I figured I would ask. Veritas 3 was pretty good. I'll have some little snippets from that today.
Fox Business Report brought to you by Modern Kitchen, creating your dream living spaces so you can redesign, remodel, and relax. Modern Kitchen on McKinley, east of Ash Road in Elkhart.
I'm Lauren Simonetti, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Major averages are falling in the final hour of trading, with Boeing being the biggest drag on the Dow today after Reuters reported that the company misled the Federal Aviation Administration regarding the safety of its 737 MAX planes, which have been grounded since March after 2 deadly crashes. Today's midday slide wiping out most of this week's gains on Wall Street. However, shares of Coca-Cola are higher, up around 2% today, after reporting third-quarter revenue that topped analyst estimates with its Coke Zero sugar line and
It's interesting, Happy.
sales growth during the quarter. And Macy's, L Brands, and Gap shares are all lower today after analysts at Credit Suisse lowered.
Weird is a given. And I don't know if you heard me, by the way. Thank you so much for gifting that to Sean Haas. That sub, that was very nice of you. Do you think he can use campaign dollars to subscribe to my Twitch channel? I'm reaching voters. That's a campaign expense.
Save up to 10% on trips. Terms and conditions apply. Visit your travel agent or Trafalgar.com. Trafalgar, simply the best.
It's B-Windows Pick One Free sale.
Pick one free?
Yeah, you get a free Anderson or Marvin patio door or a free entry door.
What?
Purchase great B-Windows siding or back.
So many little quick hit topics
No payments, no
out there.
It's B-Windows Pick One Free sale.
For a limited time only.
At first it was just an annoyance, but then it started affecting my daily life. My hernia was stopping me from doing what I enjoy. That's when I learned about robotic surgery at St. Joe. With a simple outpatient procedure, I was back to normal in days, not weeks. Thanks to St. Joe, I've turned time sitting out into time changing people I love.
Man.
You enjoy. Schedule your hernia assessment today. Call 1-833-300-WELL.
My name's Dave Titus with International RV Indiana. You know, one of the things that we see people that are really
I need a
with is whether
back
they can
cracking.
actually afford them
That's
or
what I need.
not. They see these big things going down the road, and oh my gosh, I could never have one of those. And we have units that started around $100 a month. It's all about the fun, sitting around the campfire with your wife in the evening, or with your kids, or taking that stroll on the beach, or having that.
Well, I mean, I would, Roland, but you know me.
Hardly any money, but you had a great time. My salespeople will spend quite a bit of time trying to figure out what they're wanting to do with an RV, where they're wanting to go, how they're going to use it, and we try to make it real. I don't like high pressure. I don't like having my arms twisted. I don't like all of the extra costs.
Isn't that nice? So you got somebody on Twitch talking to somebody on YouTube, and they're all doing it in the same place. And that see, we bring people together now. I mean, until we're censored by YouTube, but we try to bring people together consistently. We do. Even in the midst of a great hand sanitizer war of 2019, here in the building.
Your 401k or IRA is actually yours.
Poor Taylor, she's in the middle.
It will end up in your pocket.
She's in the middle.
Government. Remember, you still might owe taxes on that money. And how about the tax efficiency? Are you overpaying?
I don't even think Ginny, thinking of Gene's camera, because he just saw the mugs. I don't even think Ginny saw the second half of the charade.
That's why at Howard Bailey, we work with tax professionals to help make sure you are.
But I have faith that Taylor is going to tell her all about it.
I was texting somebody when I watched.
Was she? What the hell is going on? Oh my God, this is bigger than I thought it was.
At 866-482-9559, 866-482-9559.
There's an internal sanitizer conflict that is happening here in the building. And unfortunately involves the gatekeeper and the office manager because of pure proximity and that we can't hide it from them.
To the final phase, industrial and commercial electrical done right.
This is Casey Hendrickson.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. That big guy voice reminded me of something. I need, okay, it doesn't have to be a big guy voice. It can be a woman. I need somebody to voice a commercial for me. So if you are a voiceover personality out there and you would like to record a little spot for little to no money for me and use it for your tear sheet, I would be happy to take a gander at your audio files because I need a new commercial recorded for the fake news flash, and that way I can start publishing them again. I can't publish them until I get a new commercial cut for them. So if you are in the voiceover world or have done something like that in the past or think that you could, go ahead and hit me up on Facebook, facebook.com/Casey the host. I'll take a listen to anything that you have. And again, be good at it. Don't be like, oh, this is my break-in opportunity, because I have very high standards and no patience. So I'm one of those guys. All right, 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. Would like to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle. And of course, if you mention me, you get 50% off your range time. Go to secondamendmentarms.net. U.S. gaming company Blizzard Entertainment. Now, Blizzard Entertainment is the company that banned the player for saying free Hong Kong or whatever it was. And it wasn't exactly that, but you get the gist. They suspended that player, then they suspended the news team that was interviewing him. They took away his winnings. The backlash was overwhelming. So then what they had to do is reduce his suspension. They reinstated his winnings. They reduced the suspension of the news team that was interviewing him at the time, as if it's their fault that he said whatever he said and they had any control over it. Then we started hearing that it was Nintendo, right? Nintendo.
Well, Blizzard canceled their Overwatch launch event for the Switch at Nintendo New York. That was Wednesday.
Right.
And then Nintendo didn't tweet anything out. Nintendo of America didn't tweet anything out about the launch, and they haven't really said anything.
So Nintendo's basically pretending that Overwatch doesn't exist.
Yeah, they haven't really acknowledged Overwatch at all.
Were they giving the rebate? Was it Nintendo or was it another company?
That's what it is. Apparently people had called Nintendo customer service and are getting refunds for Overwatch pre-orders for digital copies, which never happens.
And again, Overwatch, very popular game. Overwatch is a Blizzard product. Mm-hmm. And so what's happening is people are calling Nintendo and saying they want their money back. They don't want the game because they don't want to support Blizzard. So Blizzard has tried to come out there and say, oh, we didn't know what he was saying. It was, it seemed like it was a terrorist thing and all that stuff, which didn't really make a lot of sense to a lot of gamers. Probably would have made sense to people who are not gamers and a little bit older in the population because he had the gas mask on and everything. And I could see why somebody who's not familiar with the culture could probably be a little weirded out by that. But I looked at it, I was like, he's a gamer. But now, see, Blizzard's been walking this back, right? They're trying to do damage control on all of this stuff. So you assume that Blizzard is going to make amends here and finally realize their mistake and just say, all right, fine, we're sorry, we shouldn't have done it, we behaved rashly, and we won't do it again. That's what most people are expecting Blizzard to do, and then we can all go about our ways because we're a very forgiving society, especially if they put out good products, and Blizzard does put out good products. U.S. gaming company Blizzard Entertainment has suspended 3 more players for expressing support for Hong Kong during an esports competition a week after it triggered public criticism for punishing a Hong Kong player for similar actions. Okay, I guess they're tripling down on this thing. Well, I guess technically that's a quadruple, right? Because that's 4 people now, because it's 3 additional players. So I guess Blizzard's not backing off. Blizzard's now saying, you know what? The rest of you out there who don't want our products, all right, bleep you. We're just going to go ahead and keep suspending people for supporting Hong Kong. And I know you're going to be shocked by this. They're Hearthstone players. 3 Hearthstone players from Washington-based American University held a sign that read, "Free Hong Kong, boycott Blizz" during a collegiate championship match on October 8th. Their message was in reaction to Blizzard suspending Hearthstone player, I don't know how to say his first name. It's NG Y Chung, better known as Blitz Chung, on the same day. Did I get that right? I think pretty close to that at least. At least it wouldn't offend him or his family if my pronunciation. Which is a big deal, by the way. On the same day for shouting a pro-Hong Kong slogan during a post-match interview, the broadcast cut away from the protest sign after a few seconds, which, of course, the NBA has been doing.
Blitz Chung is the one that started this whole thing.
He started the entire thing.
Yeah,
That's him.
He's the one who got banned and lost his winnings.
Right. But they did reinstate the winnings, and they reduced his ban in half, okay? But now they've got 3 other players, this time Americans, who might be a little bit more irritated about you censoring their speech? Somebody from Hong Kong or Americans?
The Americans. The Americans.
We tend to be a little hypersensitive about that, just a smidgen, considering we're the only place on Earth that allows you to say whatever the world you want, okay? Everywhere else, literally everywhere else, has speech restrictions. There's no other country on Earth that has the freedom of speech that we have. So now you've got these 3 students, which, by the way, part of this is, Blizzard's going to say, well, they're telling people to boycott us on our own product, and we can't allow that to happen. But it's not going to work because you are the ones that made the bed. Now you've got to sleep in the thing, and it's very uncomfortable, probably wet. Happy to announce the AU Hearthstone team receiving a 6-month ban from competition, says 19-year-old, I swear to God, no relation, Casey Chambers. One of the college players who goes by the moniker Excelsior wrote in an October 16th tweet attaching screenshots of the suspension notification from Hearthstone admin. The notice said that Chambers had violated a rule prohibiting players from engaging in any activity that is abusive, insulting, mocking, or disruptive, which, of course, can mean literally anything. That's the same rule that public schools use when they want to send you home because they don't like the way you're dressing, even if you haven't violated the dress code. They go, well, you're causing a disruption. Really? Somebody's looking at the phrase on my pants? You really think that people care about the phrase on my pants, Jerry? Hall monitor Jerry? Just reliving a moment, okay? Reliving a moment. The other 2 suspended players are Corwin Dark, known as Giant Dwarf, and Torin Wright, known as T Jammer, according to CNN. We actually... on Twitch, Tracy on Twitch, she's my mod on Twitch, actually. She's a huge fan of the show, and she's always hanging out in the live stream. She also follows a lot of other Twitch streamers and players who are professionals, and they have now said that they're not going to go to Blizzard events, too. They've actually canceled an appearance at a Blizzard event. So Blizzard is in trouble, and that was before they actually suspended 3 additional players. So this is a problem. I wouldn't be surprised if Blizzard has a really terrible holiday season. Now, kiddies, if you've got an Amazon list for Christmas, make sure you go in there and set your priorities. If you don't want the Blizzard games you threw in your list to be ranked high anymore, or you can just take them out. Then you don't have to worry about mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, uncle, whatever buying it for you. And you can go out there and get, a real game like the new Call of Duty. I'm not even a huge Call of Duty fan, but the Modern Warfare, dude, that looks amazing.
To be fair, the Blizzard official name is Activision Blizzard, and Activision is the creators of Call of Duty as well. So it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
So I've got to boycott the one Call of Duty I've wanted to actually play in the past 8 years. I've got to boycott that. Is that what you're telling me? Or do I just not care enough about Hong Kong? Now, you know what? They sang my national anthem. We've got professional athletes here taking a knee, and I've got non-professional athletes in Hong Kong singing my national anthem. I can't abandon you guys. All right. So here's what I will do. I will steal it from a store that I don't care about who also has liberal policies, and then the money won't go to Activision / Blizzard, whatever it is. I'm joking. Maybe not. Got more coming up. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Michiana's news channel is everywhere. The top.
It's a whole.
I didn't realize that
Yeah.
Activision was the same damn
Activision-
company.
Activision bought out Blizzard.
Oh boy.
It's a whole thing.
Are they in the same building with the same
I
management
don't
team?
think they are. I think they're two separate offices, but they're the same company.
So you could make the argument that they're separate entities within the same umbrella,
You could make the argument.
but the money is still going in the
It's
pot.
still going in the same bucket. It's a big show.
That's like buying Nickelback albums and all, or that's like buying Slipknot albums and all the money going into promote Nickelback, which Roadrunner did, by the way.
It's a whole.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to think on this. You know what I need? I need some CBD gummies to get me through this. Gotta have some CBD gummies in my CBD bath bomb bath, and then I can go ahead and meditate.
I found that you can use it on.
Ooh, yeah.
It's safe for kids.
I can CBD bomb my kids. Yeah, buddy.
Apparently, a common practice.
I mean, you can do it for dogs and crap. I would assume you could do it for kids, right? Although you can feed dogs raw chicken.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But that's because they're immune.
That is true. Well, kids can't become immune if you don't feed them the raw chicken. You got to get them used to it, man. You got to build their gut. All right. Can you tell I haven't slept in many days? I'm famous now, Tracy says. That's funny.
You need the trusted experience of a team who knows how to get the job done. Vinyl Phase Electric has the tools and the experience to make your dreams a reality, and can step in at any time to assess your project with a level of unmatched precision that throws guesswork out the window. We believe in positive results through positive people, and we're positive that we can help you with your commercial or industrial project. One call does it all. 574-522-4444. That's 574-522-4444. Let us take the guesswork out of your project and help you sleep.
Roland can do his Barry White voice. But can you make your Barry White voice sound like somebody who's going to stab someone in the neck? It is going to be my annual Mary stabbing sale, so...
Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill's menu was getting an upgrade. In the morning. Remember the phrase, early bird gets the breakfast burrito? Breakfast is now served 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. daily at your favorite Mexican restaurant, Monterey Mexican.
Pirate over VPN. Tim hasn't said hardly anything, and he hops on to get pirated. He did say some stuff earlier, but it was funny.
You could pirate it. You could just wait until some idiot buys it and then buy it.
I thought about buying it second.
Quick, you know.
Yeah, it's gonna. Yeah, they always do. So I
Well, then
mean,
again, it's got a huge online. Who knows?
they always. There's people play the story and then they get rid of it.
Who just
Yeah. What up, man?
It's not gonna have multiplayer achievements or anything on it. Probably not. So.
Cool. Cool.
They're probably
Thank you.
They're gonna complete it and then like I'm gonna hold on to this.
We can't say anything about these on air.
Are those the things? The things that we can't tell the audience about?
The things that nobody's allowed to know about.
Which let a candidate show
Oh,
that
those
you're
look
quite high.
fantastic.
We'll also have
Holy
the dolphin
smokes.
chatter excitedly in front of the perfect candidate.
Dude, is that him?
Yeah.
Okay, there's
Every one of them.
Oh my
but
god.
skills tests. That's a measure.
See why independent research by Silk
I know.
Road shows
I'm really caught up
hires
with
than
it.
any other job site.
Because this is the only thing
They did
See,
a great job.
When I got the text, this is all I was
Terms,
expecting.
conditions, and exclusions
And that's
apply.
still is great.
Yeah. This is all I was expecting. And when I saw this photo, I was like,
That's
oh
amazing.
man, we just
People are gonna go nuts for those.
People who are at noise will go nuts for them. The rest of you plebes get nothing.
specifically the VIPs. Specifically the VIPs.
Oh, it's not for everybody.
There's gonna be some. From what I understand. But these are specifically for the VIPs.
Specifically for the VIPs.
Man. Without spoiling it for the people who are listening, this is the icing on the cake.
For the VIPs. Red beer jerky. Yeah.
I don't think any of
You're an Elkhart.
any Call of Duty's ever had any multiplayer achievements or anything, has it? So people who are just interested in like completing it and 100%ing it, we'll probably just get rid of it as soon as possible.
Yeah, they always
You
do.
buy it for about $40, $50.
Yeah, and then that money doesn't go to them.
It goes directly to the person who's selling it.
Mm.
Support small business and
Mm.
get the book out Blizzard and Activision.
Mm.
But you could argue that Blizzard's the one responsible for all this crap that's going on right now, and Activision doesn't really have anything to do with it. But I don't really know the inner workings of the company that well. So
Yeah. All depends on how much they merge their money. Sorry, Lindsay, I have been blockaded. I'm not allowed to tell you about it. Sorry.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595953. You can also send a text message to 45364. And please put MNC at the beginning of that message. It seems like every year I have this story. Different team, different coach, different league, same story. Kyle Williams told NBC 10 that he knew he was dangerously close to breaking the rules Saturday morning when his youth football team, the Conshohocken Golden Bears, went up 30-0. The rules of the Keystone Sports League, which features kids no older than 7 years of age, prevent a team from going up by more than 30 points. Less than 2 minutes left, I called a timeout because I wanted to pull the starters off of the field, Williams said. I put kids in there who normally never played. When one of the second stringers, a 5-year-old boy, got the ball, he ran towards the end zone as Williams ran along the sidelines and repeatedly yelled for him to fall down. A boy said, "No." It's like when you're an offensive lineman and you get a ball. Like, you got to go for the touchdown, man. You got to do it. So he's like, I'm going to be a second stringer forever. And so he got his 6 points. So he did. So the team went up 36-0. Now Williams is facing a possible $500 fine and a 2-game suspension. The kid is 5 years old. Okay? The kid is 5 years old, and the coach is facing a $500 fine and a 2-game suspension. I have 3 sons, Williams said. I'm not going to tell my son, especially if he's running the ball, don't go out there and give it your all. Yeah. There's video of it too. I swear, it seems like every single year we've got this. Do you remember the kid that was so good, he was so much faster than everybody else in his league, that he wasn't allowed to score a touchdown anymore? Do you remember that story? That was 2, maybe 3 years ago. And so what they would do is they would give him the ball. He would run 99 yards or whatever it was, and then he would take a knee at the 1-yard line because he wasn't allowed to score a touchdown because they would ban him from playing. So this kid had all of these yards, but he had like no touchdowns because they wouldn't let him do it. So here we go again. I mean, you've got a team that's good, and you're not teaching the other team to lose. Okay. And if you've got kids who'd never get an opportunity to get out on the field, you're going to want them to score too. I mean, come on, it's only fair. You can't tell the backup players that they're not allowed to do good and score. You know, they're going to be out there trying to develop and get better, and hopefully one day they can be starters as well. So yeah, this is not it's not a good look for the country in general, ladies and gentlemen. But I know some of you are soft, and you think that if your kids are getting beat real bad, then, you know, have mercy or whatever. Now, here's the thing. I'm okay with a mercy rule. How about we just do that? A mercy rule where if you go up by 30 points, the game is called. Do that instead of fining the coach for teaching kids how to play the game the way that it's supposed to be played, or possibly having superior athletes that particular season. And if you want to have a mercy rule so that way it doesn't get that bad, all right, that's fine. And then you can just let the kids go ahead and continue to play for fun if they really want to. That's what we used to do when I coached and refed, is that if that would happen, you know, we would call the game, and then we would ask if the kids wanted to go ahead and pick teams and just play for fun for the rest of the time. And they always had a good time when they did that. And then you got the, you know, different teams mixing together, and they make new friends and everything else. So this is silly stuff, but it's continuing to grow in this country. More coming up.
WTRC-FM and HD1.
What did they want?
There's an accident Wrong one.
Yeah, it was the wrong one. Red Beard Jerky
There's an
in
accident
Elkhart.
at the Elkhart and St. Joe County line. Ash Road 933. Always are backed up. It's just apparently really messed up.
Okay.
For the Boeing 737 MAX when it was going through the certification process. And
Was that jerky good or what? Real muscle meat.
systems on the MAX were making the plane very difficult to fly on a simulator.
With Jonathan Hunt, the messages date back 2 years before the first of 2 crashes that killed 346 people, suspected of being caused by issues.
I would be okay with that too, Tracy.
Referenced in those messages. The crashes and FAA certification of the jets remain under investigation.
Yep, more shelling now in Kurdistan.
Today, down about 6%. On a down day for stocks overall. The Dow dropping more than 255 points at the bell. Kurdish leaders accusing Turkey of violating a new ceasefire agreement, at least so far, in Syria. Fox's John Decker is live at the White House.
President Trump speaking to
Ooh, new bumper music in honor of noise.
ceasefire deal the U.S. cut with Turkey.
I coach football.
And sometimes you have to go through
To be fair, I was also a gymnastics coach for one day, and then I was fired. But do you know why I was fired? I was too nice to the girls. No joke. Legit reason. But see, I had those girls working out hard. But yep, I was too nice to the girls, so they fired me one day after being a coach. I'm not doing jack for you. I'm off. No, it's the weekend. What do you need?
After your show. Just
Oh, well, you're going to make me work extra time now.
that's okay.
Okay. What do we got? Oh, okay. Good deal. No, that's good for them.
No problem.
All right, I'll get it done and just put it in my Y drive. Okay. You bet.
95.3 Michiana's News Channel and 95.3 MNC.com.
I am cheating on you, Mike, but it's really good. So is yours. So Red Beard Jerky is in Elkhart. They're great. They got robbed, and they stole a bunch of equipment, did some damage to the place. So to replace the equipment, they had to obviously buy all the stuff and fix the damage. So they were asking for everybody to come out and buy a bag or two of jerky to help them get the funds to go and make sure that they stayed open. And a bunch of people did that. David went by today and picked me up a couple of bags. So I'm very grateful for that. It's a good company. They're good people, and they make good jerky. So I hope you will stop by and check them out in Elkhart. I tagged them on Facebook, so you can go ahead and track down their address. I'll be right back.
I think the logs messed up.
Why?
Well, come here and look at what our rejoin is. Something tells me that it's wrong.
After receiving a tip from the National Center for
The
Missing and
rejoin
Exploited Children. Officers served a search warrant at Lyon's home shortly thereafter, along with an interview.
Definitely
Following the
wrong.
search, an arrest warrant was issued for Lyon, and he subsequently turned
we
himself in
don't
on
even
October 8th.
do
Lyon
that
has been
anyway.
charged with 1 count of child sexually abusive
I don't-
activity.
Another mystery that the people on the live stream cannot have access to today. Wow. They're supposed to be paying good free money for exclusive access to stuff, and now we've denied
It's the last backyard brawl between Mishawaka and Pan, at least for a few years, because the cavemen are changing conferences. A lot of people in the town are upset about the loss of the traditional rivalry in the community between 2 schools full of kids who know each other, which has always brought an extra level to the game. The 2 schools have played each other for each of the last 55 years.
That's 95.3 MNC's Tommy Lee reporting. News is powered by St. Joseph Health System Health Insurance Services. Schedule your Medicare coverage checkup today at 855-88-SJ-MED. MNC News Time is 4:04.
Weather sponsored by
The Prime Table King. Cool off from the summer heat. Covet for crisp salads and fresh fruit plates.
Well, then so's the show.
Heating specialist
The
first.
show opens. It's the rejoin and the football show. You guys want to help sample the thing that nobody's allowed to know about?
temperatures not as cold as last night.
You want to split it in half?
Upper 30s
What?
nights.
I gotta split it? No, I got.
60
Okay.
with a few extra extra clouds in the afternoon on Saturday, 65 sun and clouds on Sunday. From the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Tyler Seabury.
All news,
Yeah.
all the time.
It's a blankety blank.
Tuned to 95.3
Hey, that kind of looks like a
MNC
remote control.
Available now on
Oh,
95.3
Nintendo.
FM HD3 from News Talk 95.3 Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
At first, it was just an annoyance, but then it started affecting my daily life. My hernia was stopping me from doing what I enjoy.
not
That's how I
bad.
learned about
You know what I
robotic
mean?
surgery at St. Joe. With a simple
Is that what it
outpatient procedure, I was back to normal in days, not weeks. Thanks to St. Joe, I've turned time sitting out into time cherishing the people I love. Get back to the things you enjoy.
Too bad y'all can't know what this is.
Today. Call 1-833-300
Oh, thanks.
I'm Sean Haas, an Army veteran, teacher, husband, and father, running as Republican for mayor of South Bend. One party has left our city with a soaring crime rate, few jobs, broken roads, and failing schools. My opponent wants to continue the same failed policies of Mayor Pete. As mayor, I'm required to restore the safety of our streets, revitalize our schools, and ensure that our city is rebuilt in a way that we can all prosper. On November 12th, let's not have another.
I want to use my loyalty points to know what you are hiding from us.
To elect Sean Haas for mayor.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a select quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy.
When are you starting the Salty Liberal Jerky Company? That would be really funny, though.
Companies we represent, and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $27 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-597-0315. That's 800-597-0315.
Because Dave brought me the jerky earlier, I made sure to let him know in front of Zach and Taylor that he shouldn't touch that sanitizer. And then I let Zach know that he could use it.
Okay.
Sanitizer War 2019's heating up. It's getting interesting. What am I supposed to do with this? Am I on now?
Nope.
What the?
Michiana's news channel. Would you like
It's
to
not
talk
even
to
the right
Casey?
team.
Ash Road and 933. Yes, we are aware.
News and weather station.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Lots of people are calling us in to let us know that Elk and St. Joe County line, Ash Road 933, all sorts of backed up. Is that what am I supposed to say here?
The Elkhart and near the Elkhart and St. Joe County line, Ash Road 933.
Why didn't you just write that?
I did.
Why do you gotta like weird goofy shorthand that thing to me?
Because it's easier to type that.
But it says Elk. I don't know if it's Elk Count.
All right, next time I'll do it the right way.
Okay,
I
near
apologize.
County line, Ash Road at 933, there is a backup. Do we know which direction is messed up the most?
No, it's
everywhere.
It's right in the middle of the intersection.
So everything is jacked up.
Yes.
Okay, so near the Elkhart and St. Joseph County line at Ash Road at 933, everything's a mess. Avoid. There we go. 574-25-95-95-3. That is 25-95-953. Don't forget, we have open lines in 1 hour. You get to call and bring up any issue. Should we start doing that at 4:30?
I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea.
Or 4? Or is it too much?
Do the 4 to 5 as open lines and then do like a half hour of like we would for 4 to 4:30?
I got to come up with something because Bill O'Reilly cuts into time pretty hard. Because last week was the first time we had open lines with the O'Reilly thing.
Yes. How'd that go?
It was okay, but I also felt like a couple of people got rushed.
Do you want to start it now or start it at 4:30?
Let's start it at 4:30 this week and see how it goes.
All right.
So at 4:30, we'll start open lines. We usually do it in the final hour free-for-all, so we're now going to do it in the final hour free-for-all, but it's going to be at 4:30 instead of 5. So we're going to do it that way. So at 4:30, we will start open lines instead of the usual 5 o'clock. just because the O'Reilly update is taking that last portion of the program, so it kind of shortens everybody's time limit a little bit. So we'll just extend that out. So at 4:30 from now on, 4:30 open lines will start on the program every Friday. All right, 574-25-95, 95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. Let's see. We have journalists, air quote. Okay, air quote journalists. They're not real journalists because real journalists wouldn't act this way, but air quote journalists are really upset that people keep asking Elizabeth Warren how she is going to pay for a minimum $30 trillion healthcare plan. God forbid you should look at somebody's plans and say, yeah, but how are you going to pay for that? And of course, she isn't answering that question. She either is unaware of how she's going to pay for it, or she is intentionally withholding the fact that she's going to raise all of your taxes in order to do it. So we've talked about her wordplay on this many, many times. Bernie Sanders does a lot of wordplay on this as well, but Elizabeth Warren is more sketchy and shady about how she's going to fund her Medicare for All plan than Bernie Sanders is. Some professionals in the media are arguing that repeatedly asking Senator Elizabeth Warren, Democrat of Massachusetts, about how she would pay for Medicare for All is giving Republicans ammunition in the 2020 race. Okay, first of all, there's a couple of different things. Yeah, it does give Republicans ammunition for the 2020 race because she has to raise people's taxes. And I got news for you. Taxes is always a campaign issue. It always is. Whether you are going to raise taxes or lower taxes, it's always a campaign issue. So Elizabeth Warren is actively out there telling people by not telling them that she's going to raise their taxes. So yes, of course, it is absolutely going to be a campaign issue. Now, there is a way for her to kind of take that away, or at least soften the blow of it being a campaign issue, and that would be to actually answer the question for once, which she has not done. And the reason that she hasn't answered the question is she doesn't want to tell all of you that she is going to raise your taxes. Remember, Obama did this too. Obama was out there and people thought that he was going to put gas in their car and he was going to pay their mortgage, and we got that famous soundbite. I haven't played that soundbite in a long time. He's going to pay my mortgage. She was so excited. That poor girl. I wonder whatever happened to her, because I know he didn't pay her mortgage, so I don't know how things went for her. I hope they ended up okay. But you have these things and they say it very vaguely, and then people just kind of interpret it the way that they want to interpret it. This is the new style, and Trump does it just like Obama does it too. But Obama really was very masterful at saying a lot of words but not actually saying something. So he would come out there and he'd give you a bunch of platitudes that you could interpret any way that you want. This is why people called him an empty suit, because he wouldn't tell you what he actually wanted to do or how he was going to go about doing it. He would just tell you what kind of feel-good things needed to happen, and then you would interpret how it would happen based on what you wanted to happen. And that's what made people so happy when he was running for office in 2007. So Elizabeth Warren, who is 70 years old and not a Native American and was not fired for being pregnant, Warren has championed the government takeover the healthcare industry, but has declined to state that Medicare for All would require higher taxes on the middle class, prompting reporters to ask her a number of times to clarify her position. Each time, she has again declined to say that the plan would require tax hikes, instead arguing that the overall costs would go down. Now, of course, overall cost does not mean the overall amount of money you pay. Overall costs is wordplay that gives her what we know as plausible deniability. No, I told you costs would go down. I meant your healthcare costs. So your out-of-pocket healthcare costs would go down. Yeah, but my taxes went up to cover the healthcare, so really I'm paying more for healthcare than they were. Yes, but when you go to the doctor or the hospital, you pay less now than you did, even though you're actually paying more. That's what she's saying. Okay, Bernie Sanders did this during the last campaign. He's kind of opened up a little bit this campaign about all of this. Let's see. Senator Bernie Sanders, they're still calling him an independent from Vermont. Warren's rival in the 2020 race wrote the Medicare for All bill that Warren has praised. Sanders has said multiple times that his plan would require higher taxes while also alleging overall costs would go down. One proposal he's put forth for financing is a 4% tax increase on families making more than $29,000 a year. So if you make 29 grand, which by the way makes you poor, or at least in the lower echelon of income, especially if you are a family, okay, if you're an individual making 29 grand and you're frugal, you can get by just fine. If you are a family on $29,000, you're broke. You are dead broke. And can you afford a 4% tax increase? Probably not. Probably not. So, and then of course, if you are paying for insurance, calculate what percentage of your insurance is taking up your income, and you can start determining, at least from a basic level, it's good for you or not. I'd also like to point out that they throw out Canada, they throw out the UK and everything else. Healthcare there is not free, okay? Even I'm talking out of pocket. Obviously, you pay for it via taxes, but you still pay for services out of pocket when you go to the doctor in the hospital. Okay, we've talked about this. You basically have a co-pay system. The government, for certain procedures, will cover almost everything. For certain procedures, they will cover absolutely nothing. For certain things, they will cover a portion of it. This is where most of their medical coverage is. The government will cover a portion of it, and you got to come out of pocket for the rest. And usually that means you having an additional private insurance plan. Again, this is all in Canada, which Bernie Sanders and others keep touting as, oh, look, it's free up there. It's free. It's free. It's not free. All right. So you got your taxes that have been increased, and now you have to supplement the universal healthcare system that the government is giving you to make sure that you can pay your bills should you go in for one of these services that's not covered 100%. Of course, that all comes out of pocket, right? So these are all things that have to be factored in here. So now you've got Jay Rosen is out there, and he's basically saying that if you are a journalist and you ask Elizabeth Warren, okay, he actually put this on his Twitter, if you're a journalist and you ask Elizabeth Warren how she's going to pay for her Medicare for All plan, your credibility is questioned as a journalist. So if you're a journalist actually asking a question to get an answer to something that nobody has the answer to, your credibility is in question, not hers. Imagine that backwards line of thinking when we're talking about journalism. Because, of course, in journalism, your whole job is supposed to be digging up the truth, presenting the facts, and getting answers to questions that people have. Not if you ask tough questions of Democratic candidates, your credibility is questioned. Because now what it is, if you do anything that helps the Republicans at all, and these journalists have said this, if you do anything that helps the Republicans at all, you're a part of the problem. Even if you're doing your job, even if you're just trying to uncover that one of the Democrats is lying to you or misleading everybody, you're not allowed to expose all of that because you're helping the Republicans, and helping the Republicans is not what journalists do. They're not even hiding who they are anymore. I mean, again, that absolute garbage question from Anderson Cooper the other night, which wasn't even a question really, to Joe Biden, where Anderson Cooper exonerated Joe Biden and pretended that there was absolutely no evidence of any wrongdoing with the Bidens at all. I got news for you. There's multiple court affidavits that say that there is a serious problem with the Bidens, and then you've got old Joe Biden himself admitting it. So there's some real issues with that. To say that there's no evidence whatsoever is absurd when there is much more evidence of Hunter Biden and Joe Biden impropriety. Let's also not forget about the parliamentarian in the Ukraine saying that they paid Joe Biden $900,000 in illegal lobbying fees. I guess that doesn't count as any information either, right? Anderson, who's a distant cousin of mine, we are ashamed. That's why we don't invite him to Thanksgiving anymore. We're very ashamed of him. So he's going out there and he's telling everybody that, hey, Joe Biden, they're all lying about you and your kid and everything else. And, respond to all of that. And that's what kills your credibility right there. That right there kills your credibility. The one Republican being on MSNBC's network, I forget her name. The one Republican that's on MSNBC going out there with a slip of the tongue, with a Freudian slip, and telling everybody that, for those of us who are rooting for your campaign, talking to Democrats, rooting for your campaign. Oh, so you're rooting for their campaign, are you? Okay. Guess you're not a journalist anymore. So anyway, but this pales in comparison to what Hillary Clinton did today. Wait till you hear this. Got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather.
Weather served up by the Prime Table in Niles. 26 years.
I am ready for a nap.
Food, tremendous service, and great people. Visit Prime Table today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists, 5-day forecast.
Nice, mild fall weather here for the week.
You're damn right I do. Don't you forget it.
fall off, courtesy of a strong fall system. We've got low 60s on Saturday with a few extra clouds during the afternoon. Not a bad.
I think we should draw the China map because China keeps getting all pissy about Taiwan not being. Who? Somebody just apologized to China. Oh, it was that fashion company. They apologized to China because when they posted a map of China, they didn't include Taiwan. So China made them apologize and change the map. Then you had ESPN posting that propaganda map of the map of China, which included a bunch of other territories that are not in China. What if we came up with a map of China that included South Bend? So you just have the outline of China and then like way over here just have like South Bend in there. I think that would be funny.
Our special guest star, Fox News host and best-selling author Brian Kilmeade, and appearing on the Noise stage for the very first time, townhall.com editor, Fox News contributor, best-selling author Katie Pavlich. General admission tickets are on sale now for just $40, and each attendee will receive one copy of Brian's brand new book, Sam Houston. Tickets are available now at 95.3.
Do I have to find that sound clip of the mortgage thing?
237 West Edison Road in Mishawaka. Get yours now and get set to make some noise on Saturday, November 2nd. Presented by Final Phase Electric.
Also sponsored by Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill, Flags International, 5-Star Dive Bar, and Warren Chiropractic.
And Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
There's been some talk around town that Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill's menu was getting an upgrade. In the morning.
Cue my audio. Where have you been? This is important.
Breakfast is now served 7 a.m.
Peggy that took her daughter out of school early one day for this. Her emotions ran high following the mama's speech. It wasn't long. Never was hard in my life.
You coming back and getting try Mexican and American breakfast classics with some mixed in alongside your favorite hot and cold breakfast beverages with 3 alcoholic options to choose from. From burritos, skillets, to combos, and omelets, Monterey's new breakfast is something you need to experience. And the best part is you can.
You're probably too young to remember that, huh? That happened in 2008. Remember that whole thing.
I was 8.
That's what I'm saying. You're probably too young to remember it. See, I was right.
You know it's what you want.
Hey, Judd. Hi, Joe.
What do you need from me? You're on camera. Don't screw it up.
All right. Bobby Caldwell called and he said you were.
Oh, yeah, voiceover?
Yeah,
Cool.
voiceover. He has lots of experience.
So you know him.
Yeah, he goes to Pass the Mics. Every Pass the Mic.
Oh, okay.
Every Pass the Mic.
Good deal.
Okay.
Awesome.
He's a snappy dresser, gray hair.
Okay. Because I was just telling, like, I need a new commercial for Fake News Flash, or else I can't make any more.
Yeah.
So that's gotta find somebody.
All right.
Cool. Thank you. It's my annual Merry Stabbing sale.
It was weird because the football liner went in, and then
Yeah, I
Casey's
know, that's so bizarre.
Yeah.
Casey's back.
I know. I have no idea why that was in there or where it came
I did
from.
knock it out because I thought maybe you put it in there on purpose.
I did not put it in there on purpose. I did not put it in there.
So
at
if I see it
all.
again, I'll knock it out.
Yeah, I looked it out. Yeah, that was really.
Chances are you can remember your best decisions. Buying that car, having a child, getting away from the rat race, if only for
Yo!
Now you can add another decision to that list. Moving to a Trilogy Senior Living Community. When you make the move to a Trilogy Senior Living Community,
The final hour and 20 minutes free for all. Not quite the same ring to it.
TrilogyHS.com to find a community near you.
Did you know that online sports betting is now legal in
But
Indiana?
I mean, the final hour free for all is really only like 20 minutes. So, so it doesn't have the impact that it used to have. I don't know. I could do the 4 o'clock free for all, I guess. That kind of works.
No.
And then we could shut them off at 5. But it's been at 5 o'clock this whole time. I mean, if it was really hopping, I suppose we could continue. But
we could do 4 o'clock, or we could do 4:30 into.
I don't know. The 4 o'clock free for all sounds like it might work. We need a name.
No matter your
It's all about the marketing.
over 600 vehicles to choose from.
The open four.
Fast and friendly service. You'll love driving. So drop
It's
the
like a
brake.
weird
It,
engine.
I mean, the open 4 sounds interesting. Yeah. You can go a couple of different directions with that.
Z-Bart.
Oh, you are a Z-Bart.
Thank.
Yeah.
Reliable and I don't know
either.
but I'm taking this as a compliment.
Get your
because they're-
interior and your exterior detailed, okay? Because you need it. Almost as much as me. Damn, I need a shower.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. So I got to tell you about Z-Bart of South Bend. As many of you have started to notice, the weather is getting a little bit fall-like. So that means that winter is right around the corner. Now, I'm not trying to depress you for those of you who don't like winter, okay? But you've got to be prepared, which means you've got to get your rhino lining on your pickup trucks. That way you don't deal with rust and all of that potential problems with your vehicle. You got to protect your vehicle, right? But you also got to get your undercarriage taken care of. Now, here's the thing. I run into this all the time. Casey, I don't need rust protection on my vehicle. It came with it from the dealership. All right. First of all, there's a couple of brands that are known for not really putting on very good rust protection, and they rust out, okay? I don't need to tell you who those brands are. A simple Google search will tell you who they are. But beyond that, your rust proofing is not permanent. So if you buy a new vehicle from the dealership and they've done rust proofing on it, and you pay for the rust proofing, which, by the way, costs more than if you're just take it off the dealership lot and go to Z-Bart and get it done properly anyway, it wears off. It's not permanent. Okay, so you have to have it reapplied every year. So if you go to Z-Bart of South Bend, if you haven't had your undercarriage rust proofed before, or rust prevention, I should say, because technically it's not proof, I can't say that. But if you haven't had it done, you need to go in and get it taken care of this year. Just take it from me. Somebody had a vehicle literally less than a year ago snap in half. Not fun, okay? I now have an extra car payment that I wasn't planning on having. Kind of threw my whole escape and leave my family behind while I go on a cruise plan. That all went out the window because now I have to pay for my wife's new minivan. So just get it done at Z-Bart of South Bend. And then if you have had it done at Z-Bart of South Bend, you can go back every year and you can have what they call a touch-up service. So it's not the full undercarriage being treated, but it's just a quick reapplication to make sure that none of that salt and all of that mush that is on the roads gets up there and causes any damage, okay? That way you protect your vehicle, you protect your investment. I could still be driving a fully paid off SUV, but I'm not. I have car payments now because that wasn't done on the vehicle that we bought, and it broke in half. Don't let that happen to you. Go to Z-Bart of South Bend and let them know that I sent you. All right, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. Let's run down a little timeline here since we are only about 6 minutes away from open lines because we start open lines a little bit earlier now. Next week, we might just make it the 4 o'clock hour, but today we'll do it at 4:30 and then we'll go to the end of the show and see how that works. Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard wins the first Democratic debate according to multiple polls, okay? And I'm not talking about spamming one poll or something like that. Multiple polls, multiple analysts gave Tulsi Gabbard the win, okay? Followed up by Kamala Harris. So Tulsi Gabbard won the first series of debates. So what Tulsi Gabbard did is she started immediately seizing upon that traffic. People were Googling her left and right. They're going to Google her for a whole host of reasons, okay? Some people had no idea who she was. Some people really liked what they heard from Tulsi Gabbard, and they were Googling her. Some people are just Googling her because of sheer curiosity. Maybe they thought she was attractive or whatever, and they just wanted to see more pictures of her. But regardless, you can maximize that interest when you didn't have that traffic before, and you take out these Google ads, right? So you get these targeted Google ads. And what Google ended up doing was shutting them down. Now, Tulsi Gabbard's in the middle of a lawsuit on this, okay? She's claiming that she was shut down and that she thinks it was a conspiracy because they didn't want her to win. So that happens. Eventually, we get to the second debate. And what does she do at the second debate? She literally pulls out a gun and shoots Kamala Harris in the throat. Okay, not literally, but figuratively. She assassinated her. Kamala Harris was the front runner at that point in time. And Kamala Harris is now no longer a factor, okay? she's effectively done in Iowa, in spite of the fact that she said she was moving there and she was going to be in Iowa forever. She is finished. Kamala Harris, I don't think there's any way that she recovers from this thing. And after the poll the other day, she's not bringing in a ton of money either. Pete Buttigieg and a couple of others have done really well bringing in some money after that debate. Klobuchar has always been good at bringing in money, though. So she basically takes Kamala Harris out of this thing. She then doesn't get into the third Democratic debate. Do you remember the controversy there with the third Democratic debate? In several of the polls that would have been counted for other debates, she made the cut. But the polls that they were counting for that third Democratic debate, she just barely missed the cut and wasn't allowed to participate in the third debate. You remember that? Whereas if you had done what they did for the second debate and the first debate, she would have qualified and she would have been. So she thought that was a conspiracy. A lot of people were very, very upset about that. So then in the fourth debate, what ends up happening? In the fourth debate, she nearly assassinates Elizabeth Warren. And what happens? CNN runs cover for Elizabeth Warren and cuts her mic off as she's doing it, which everybody noticed. And of course, Tulsi Gabbard was also pointing out that CNN and the New York Times, that they called her and other veterans traitors. And how dare they? Okay. So she's had this very big role with all of this stuff. So based on everything that has happened to her, she's got as big of an argument as Bernie Sanders had in the first election that he was involved with last time around, that there is a conspiracy or at least a concerted effort against Tulsi Gabbard. Then you have Hillary Clinton. Do you remember after she assassinated Kamala Harris, what Kamala Harris and her campaign said about Tulsi Gabbard, Joe? You remember? Tulsi Gabbard is a Russian agent. Remember that? That was their excuse for having her assassinate Kamala Harris on stage in front of everybody and effectively kill her campaign. She works for the Russians. Hillary Clinton is now saying that Tulsi Gabbard is a Russian agent. She said in an interview here yesterday or today that Tulsi Gabbard is being groomed as a third-party candidate. She's a favorite of the Russians, and she's basically a Russian agent. So you have multiple Democrats now running around and claiming that Tulsi Gabbard, a veteran who served honorably in the United States of America and is an elected representative in the Democratic state of Hawaii, okay, they're now claiming that she is a Russian agent. Yeah, there's some special people in power in the Democratic Party right now, without a doubt. Got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
I'm Brooklyn Beatty in the MNC News Center with our top local stories this afternoon. A South Bend man has been sentenced to 43 years in prison after robbing multiple local businesses.
According to court documents, 34-year-old Danya Fowler robbed 6 South Bend area businesses at gunpoint between December 2017 and February 2018. He reportedly stole cash, change, lottery tickets, liquor, and tobacco products. Fowler was connected to all 6 robberies in part because he committed them while wearing the same clothing. At the time of his arrest, police found a picture of some of the
he's dedicated.
on his cell phone. In addition to prison time, Fowler was sentenced to 2 years of supervised release in order to pay more than $7,000 in restitution.
That's 95.3.
And I'm sure he'll pay back every single penny.
The show is underway at the RV Hall of Fame in Elkhart. The 4-day event kicked off on Thursday with a new look and feel as the outdoor site at the venue has seen new.
Oh my God, yes, I know. Stop sending me messages. Unless that's her computer. Is that her computer?
Oh.
Am I potted up? Ooh, it's her computer. She's getting emails.
And legislation advancing in Michigan is designed to help police better interact with people with autism or hearing issues.
The state Senate has voted unanimously to let
people elect a communication impediment designation when applying for or renewing their driver's license, vehicle registration, or state ID card. Police would be notified of the designation when looking up a license or registration in a database during traffic and other stops. Supporters say the bills would help officers avoid misinterpreting autism-related behaviors that could escalate interactions with law enforcement. The legislation goes to the House for consideration next.
See, I like it when people who contact me about being my voice people are like, the cost will be a margarita at Monterey. See? I dig that. I can afford a margarita. That I can afford.
MNC News Time is 4:34.
Edison. President Trump today expressing optimism that Turkey will honor a temporary ceasefire in northern Syria, despite reports of sniper and mortar attacks against U.S. allied Kurds in the region.
We have ISIS totally under guard. Turkey is also guarding separately. They're watching over everything.
Republican and Democratic lawmakers are working on legislation to impose sanctions against Turkey for its attacks on Kurds. President Trump today announcing the replacement for Energy Secretary Rick Perry, who announced this week he's resigning his cabinet post. The president tweeting that Deputy Secretary Dan Brouillette will be the next head of the Department of Energy. Economic concerns holding stock indexes lower today. The Dow down 256 points, the S&P 12 points lower, with the Nasdaq falling 67. America is listening to Fox News.
What is one thing that you do not like about Trump?
Your home comfort experts, heating specialists, first warning forecast.
Somebody sent me a thing and said Asher Road and 933 do not cross each other. I didn't say Asher Road.
I just gave you what I was given.
Well, they said Asher Road. It's Ash, right?
Yeah, but I don't.
Is Ash and Asher different? What the shift? What the shift, Joe?
I gave you.
Shirt happens, okay, people?
I gave you all the information I had. Not my fault.
The other person says County Line Road, Elkhart, Indiana, and Lincoln Way.
There's an accident somewhere in Elkhart County. / St. Joe County, apparently.
Real travel is life-changing. With Trafalgar, you'll discover the best way to travel and connect with the culture, people, and places you visit. You'll travel with the freedom to discover and the confidence to explore. With over 300 trips on all 7 continents, you get real experiences that you won't find elsewhere. These are just a few of the greatest travel stories you'll ever tell. Save up to 10% on trips. Terms and conditions apply. Visit your travel agent or Trafalgar.com. Trafalgar, simply the best.
Fox Business Report, powered by home comfort experts, plumbing, heating, and cooling. Keep your hardworking furnace running smooth with a tune-up today. Call 255-4600. Protected by SCI Alarm. Real security, rest assured. It's SCI.
Next to your house, your vehicle is one of your biggest investments, and it's important to routinely take care of it. Get oil changes a few times a year, new wheels and suspension, and maybe even change out a light bulb or two. So if the inside is running great, why not make the outside look just as flawless? Hartwood Auto Spa on Edison Road in Mishawaka and Ireland Road in South Bend to make sure your ride looks pristine and gleaming. They're also home of the Buy 5, Get 3 free. For every 5 washes you buy, you'll receive 3 free. So whether you, your spouse's, or your kid's vehicle needs a wash, there's plenty to go around. Or for only $15.95 a month, you can get an unlimited amount of washes. For that, there's no reason you won't have the best-looking vehicle on the road. Hartwood Auto Spa also lets you control your wash. Pull up in the bay and get it done by hand, or drive through their automatic wash and get on your way. Get to Parkwood Auto Spa in Mishawaka and South Bend, and online at parkwoodautospa.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Roger Pacina. Did you know that Afton is Michiana's most referred dental provider? It's no wonder that we've been voted the Reader's Choice Best Local Dentist 18 times. Not only that, we were also voted Michiana's Best Employer. If our employees feel that way, imagine what that means for you. That's right, if they love their job, it means better care for you and your family. That's what patient-friendly dentistry is all about. Our team of doctors actually listen to your needs and concerns. Haven't seen a dentist in several years? That's okay. We won't make you feel bad or expect you to do everything all at once. We'll do everything possible.
Sorry, I'm just looking for something, folks.
Exceptional care, detailed explanations, and comfortable financial options. Why not schedule a no-cost exam at Afton on Douglas Road in Mishawaka, Michiana's most referred dental provider? Call today at 277-2220 or visit our website at afnet.com. What if this was a loved one?
911. Someone's trying to break into my home. They're right at the front door. We're notifying the authorities. I'll stay on the line with you until they arrive. What'll that do?
Is your single source for personal protection. Stop in today for the largest selection of handguns, AR rifles, ammunition, accessories, and personal protection solutions. Over 2,000 guns in stock today with the best prices, guaranteed. CX Gun, located in downtown Goshen. Clear of US 33 and 750. Visit them online at cxgun.com. Protect yourself and loved ones today at CX Gun.
I'm Dave Miller, and I want to be your mayor. Being mayor is always a huge challenge. I'll meet that challenge, and I will be a great mayor for Elkhart. I will support business leaders in the city to create and maintain great-paying jobs. I'll keep our families safe through partnerships with police, fire, and first responders. I'll embrace innovation through emerging technologies and less regulation. And I will always be fiscally responsible with our taxpayers' money. Please vote for me.
Paid for by the Committee to Elect Dave Miller.
From the Final Phase Electric Studios, from the first step to the final phase, industrial and commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. We're going to do open lines early today, so you can do it right now. If you would like to call about any topic at all, feel free to do that right now. 574-25-95-95-3. That is 25-95-953. Would like to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle. Of course, if you mention me, you get 50% off your range time, which makes for a fun weekend if you want to get away and get some shooting done. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information. We are also live streaming youtube.com/Casey the Host or twitch.tv/Casey the Host. And feel free to go ahead and like, subscribe, follow, all of that stuff. And again, open lines from now until the end of the show today. All right, Casey, what is one thing that you do not like about Trump? I'll give you more than one. How about that? I don't like his federal land grab policy, although it does look like he is softening on that after some people have properly informed him of it. President Trump also is woefully ignorant of 3D printing technology and 3D printed guns. His position on the bump stocks was completely wrong-headed and misguided. Let's see, what else do I have here? Trying to think of all of the ones that I had here just recently. And of course, I talk about the things that he's wrong about on a regular basis when they come up. But if you're tuning in and out and you're not here, every single day for the entire show, I can forgive you for missing some of that stuff, which is why I post most of it to social media. But there's lots. And one of the big criticisms that I've had of the way that he's been covered is that, as with any president, you have legitimate things that you can be concerned about. Oh, I don't like that. This is another thing. I don't like his position. Well, first of all, he raised taxes on the wealthy. I don't like that. I didn't like his position on threatening American companies to not be overseas and come back to the United States. Now, there's a big difference, okay? And it's important that people understand this distinction. if an American company is getting subsidies from the federal government, I absolutely believe in the president's position that we're not going to give you any more subsidies if you go overseas, period. No company should be getting subsidies anyway, unless they are doing something like oil speculation and things like that. And even then, I get very iffy with it, okay? It has to be something that is a national benefit, right? So if it could benefit the strategic oil reserve or something like that, I'm a little bit more apt to accept it. But in general, I feel like a company is a company, and if you can survive and thrive, great. If you can't, you can't. You go back to the drawing board, or you shut the doors and try again. Don't give up. A lot of people have failing businesses. Several people have had multiple failing businesses before they had a huge success. So it happens, okay? But there are companies that don't get subsidies, that don't get tax breaks, don't get any special treatment from the government, that he still threatens if they don't come back and do business in the United States. I don't like that, and I've made that very clear. But again, one of the main issues that I've had with the way that the press kind of covers him is that every president is going to do things that you like, and every president is going to do things that you don't like. And if you had a visceral reaction that Trump has never done anything that you like, I got news for you. You're not interested in facts and you're not interested in the truth, because I guarantee you that he has done something that you like. You mean to tell me you didn't like that he took those Little League baseball teams on Air Force One and flew them home to Louisiana? You didn't like that? You didn't like it when he had that very touching moment with that veteran? Was it last week, I think it was, who was in the wheelchair outside of the White House, which the press didn't cover? You didn't like that at all? He had a really touching moment just the other day with the young girl that traveled with the hockey champs, the St. Louis Blues. And traveled with them. He had a very touching moment with her. You didn't like that? There's all sorts of things that he does that are great. You can't deny that the economy has been fantastic. So you have to at least like some of his moves with the economy. For example, allowing corporations to bring money back at a significantly reduced tax rate from overseas, which took that money out of foreign investments and brought it back into the United States, which of course stimulated jobs. There's a lot of things that there are about every president to like. There's a lot of things to dislike too. But here's what happens. This was the case in the primary with him. It was also frustrating in the primary because he's sitting here running against all of these Republicans. You're trying to cover everybody's policy positions and figure out who's going to win and who's not going to win and all of that. And even though I was a Ted Cruz guy, every single day I found myself cracking the microphone and having to defend a lie that was directed at Donald Trump. And those lies came from Republicans, conservatives, libertarians, Democrats, liberals, progressives, communists, homeless people, feminists, all sorts of groups. And they weren't accurate. So then I have to come on and I'm like, okay, if we're going to make a decision here, you've got to have accurate information about all of this. And if you don't have accurate information about all of it, then you can't make the decision. So now you've got to correct the record. And unfortunately, it was every single day there was a lie about Trump. I also don't approve, speaking of the primary, I don't approve of the way that Donald Trump treated Ted Cruz's father. Now, Ted Cruz fired the first shot, and Ted Cruz deserved everything he got with the back and forth with Trump, okay? But the way that he went after Ted Cruz's dad, I did not approve of. So there's a lot of things. I felt that even though he was right to defend himself with the Gold Star family, that dad who attacked them repeatedly in public, and then he finally defended himself, I felt that he was in his right to defend himself. I just think it was a political mistake to do that. People are still using it. They have these ad campaigns now in Times Square in New York that's put up by a fashion company, air quote fashion company, and they have Donald Trump being tied up, and he's on the ground, and he is being beaten up by a woman. Okay, this is not acceptable behavior. Now, it's free speech. You're allowed to do that, but it's not acceptable behavior. That's bad form. And that same company listed that he attacked Gold Star families. He never attacked Gold Star families. This one guy attacked him repeatedly, and he finally responded and said, I'm not going to take it anymore. And I don't have a problem with somebody defending himself, but politically it was a huge mistake. But there's lots of things that he does that are irritating and need to be covered and exposed. And I do my best to bring them in here and there. But the problem is that we can't focus on legitimate policy positions we might have disagreements with him on, because everybody is consistently lying about him and fabricating these big conspiracies that don't actually exist. And if you didn't fabricate these big conspiracies that don't actually exist, you might actually have a nice little list of grievances that the American public could look at heading into 2020 and say, all right, well, maybe somebody else will be better on these particular issues. But we can't, because they're not letting you do it. I mean, for crying out loud, you just had Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris running around still calling one of their Democratic, not Hillary's Democratic opponent, but one of the Democratic nominees, a Russian agent, simply because she's a standard traditional Democrat, not a crazy liberal. And that's not okay. That's not acceptable. But because they won't let you cover him honestly, and they won't let you cover him from a policy perspective, and you're constantly defending him against smears and lies, the policy disagreements are, well, they're overrun. That's the problem. And if you do follow me on Facebook, you will see grievances that I have with him on a regular basis, particularly with technology. But if you don't follow me, you can be forgiven for missing those. So if you don't follow me, go to facebook.com/Casey the host, and you'll get that stuff on a regular basis. You can also go to theburningtruth.us where I post it. And you can sign up for the newsletter where you can get it right there in your email box. So make it real easy for everybody to read all of my grievances with the president. And there are several. All right, we got more coming up. It's open lines if you want to call about anything you want right now, or we can continue talking about all sorts of things. Got more coming up on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather served by the Prime Table Restaurant in Niles.
No, I haven't seen El Camino yet because my mom is in the house. That is not something that she can handle. So, and she goes to bed real late. So Shanna and I are waiting for an opportunity to be able to watch that where I'm not going to give my mom nightmares. Yeah.
It's not really super violent. A lot of
it's not her thing, man.
But a real good rap.
Okay.
Really well shot.
Well, and it's been long enough that, you know, you wait for the right script, you're able to film it the right way. Yeah. We are so stoked.
Hall does a fantastic job. I mean,
he's really grown as an actor. Yeah, he is really grown as an actor. If you go back and watch like the first season of Breaking Bad, God, he was terrible. He was so bad. But no, he's grown.
Him and Bryan Cranston both.
Yeah.
Cranston especially riding a wave.
Yeah. Well, it was so weird for any of us to see him that way because he had always been in comedies.
Well, his big professional role that he got.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because he did stage stuff, and yeah,
he did some early stuff on a.
But we all knew him. Yeah, we all knew him from multiple sitcoms, and Malcolm in the Middle being the most famous.
You have a Michiana family.
Yeah, I do.
Michiana's news channel. Would you like Casey? Alrighty, I'll try to get you on there, Brenda.
Using advanced tools like thermal imaging cameras can help us identify yet. We even provide 24-hour emergency service. Ask yourself, has my business grown beyond our current resources? Are we pushing our electrical setup too hard and running the risk of shutdowns? Does the lighting in my facility create a safe working environment for my staff? One call does it all. 574-522-4444. From plant wiring, service upgrades, energy-efficient lighting, and commercial solutions for every industry. Let us take the guesswork out of your project and help you sleep easy. Find us on Facebook or visit finalphaseelectric.net.
That would be funny, Roland.
One of the top business schools in the country might sound impossible to fit into your workload. But what if there were a business degree that advanced
Stymie says he was pleasantly surprised by El Camino.
World-renowned faculty, leaders, and mentors all on your schedule. One that opened doors to
yeah, and I was going to mention that too. I kind of lost my train of thought there for a minute, Alex. The G7 summit thing, I'm not, and you know, again, from my perspective, does it make sense to maybe have it at that facility? Possibly, but why would you invite that scrutiny? You know, it's a poor move, and there's no reason to make that move. So yeah, I would agree with you on the G7 thing. Whether or not it's illegal, you know, remains to be seen. But yeah, and now I'm going to say this too: if the Biden's position is, well, my son was a private citizen and he can do all of these things involving the government, and my position as vice president is irrelevant, then Trump could be doing this and going, well, hey, look, those Trump entities, they just have my name on it. I'm not even a part of those organizations anymore. And the people running those organizations now are independent of me, and they're private citizens, and they can do whatever they want. Just because somebody uses my name and chooses to use my facility doesn't mean much. So I can see that there might be an angle that he's going with to go ahead and rub it in their face. But in general, why invite the criticism? So
your drive safer and smoother. Do your part to keep everyone safe.
I'm not a huge fan of the G7 even being in the United States, but I don't get a say.
App to learn about road projects and traffic conditions. Available in the App Store and on Google Play. And visit nextlevelroads.com.
We keep you updated all night long with the Lars Larson Show. Tune in weeknights 9 till midnight on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Your breaking news and weather station.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Yeah, Casey, but what's something else you don't like? All right, I don't like some of the way that he gets in spats with some people. I don't like John McCain. And John McCain is a guy who deserves everything that he gets, okay? And obviously I know he's not with us anymore. But again, don't pick that battle, right? Just there's no reason to pick that battle. There are battles that you should pick. And I think his battle with Elijah Cummings was one that Elijah Cummings earned. Okay. If somebody is calling you all sorts of horrible things, I don't have a problem with you coming back at him. In the live stream, Alex was saying he's not a fan of the G7 summit thing being at a Trump property. I can go along with that too. I have a theory as to why he might be doing that. If my theory is tinfoily, then so be it. But theoretically, I suppose it could be, well, the Bidens are saying that they're private citizens, so they can do it. Just because Joe Biden is the vice president and his name is attached doesn't mean anything. So the same must go for us. So I could see that. But again, why invite the criticism? So, but yeah, I mean, there's plenty of things that have irked me about him over the years. Now, a lot of those things haven't been what I would call deal breakers. So even though there might be policy positions that I disagree with, they're not deal breakers for me. Okay. They are deal breakers for other people. I have different things that I focus on. And again, that's fine. Everybody is a little bit different. Brenda, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I have no problem with how Trump reacts. And what I heard last night, I can fully understand why he reacts the way he does. After Lars Larson comes on, the woo-woo guy comes on, that Clyde fella. Well, they had a debate last night between Howard, and Howard was a never Trumper kind of guy. He's a flat-out liberal Democrat. And some of the things he came up with in that debate, he had Donald Trump in with the Russian mafia.
Right.
The Russian mafia had their headquarters at Trump Tower.
Right.
And then he goes into the emolument stuff, and he says Donald Trump is collecting money every New Year's Eve when he sells out tickets to Mar-a-Lago and all this other stuff. And I mean, he was just putting out a bunch of crap out there.
Yeah, all of which is debunked, by the way.
Yeah, and I thought, yeah, but he's still
doing it.
If it's still debunked, why is he still doing it? And then the guy that was debating him, the thing that really irks me about Republicans is, to begin with, Howard guy was a real smooth talker. He got his stuff out there, and it was nice and laid out, and you could hear the venom in his voice.
Sure.
And then his opponent that come back in the debate was a Republican. No guts. I want to say something else.
Sure.
But I like the fact that my president fights.
I do too. And there will be a lot of people out there who support his policies who say, "I wish he wasn't on Twitter." I'm not that person. And I always ask them, Brenda, how many fights has he picked? Because he doesn't pick fights with anybody. He responds to fights that are picked with him.
Absolutely, and I want him to keep on doing that. And I guarantee you that if Donald Trump is ever in a position where he has to go into the Middle East and absolutely fight a war, you better watch out. because he will go in there and he will lay waste to everything.
Well, look what he did in Afghanistan.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
holy
that's
smokes. I mean, that Moab was genius. And then,
Yeah.
of course, he fixed Iraq, too. Well, I mean,
and
or he
that's-
allowed the military to fix it.
Yeah, and so I am just beside myself with the stuff these Democrats are handing out, and it really irks me. And whatever Barr is going to do, I wish he would get it done, and I wish they would start really. I hear there's an investigation.
We got a big update on that today with the Attorney General. Big update on that.
I didn't hear that.
I'll do that first thing in this next hour. Brenda, I'm on a heartbreak. I'm down to 15 seconds. I got to bounce.
Thank you for taking my call.
You bet.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Yeah, there's been a big update with the blackberries. The missing blackberries are back, and we will talk about that and open lines on 95.3 MNC.
WTRC.
All right. Okay, so Brooklyn Beatty sent me an email. I'm going to be working up a short quiz on the noise panel next Wednesday, and I was wondering if you guys could provide me with a couple of facts about yourself and or your career. It'll be a multiple choice quiz, so I guess an example would be how many years you've worked for FedMed or had a show on MNC. Do you think one of the examples that I should give is when was the last time I had a raise? Dude, that would be so funny, though. Oh, my God. I'd like 2 or 3 facts about both of you by Tuesday, if possible, exclamation point. You know, she's new around here. She doesn't get to exclamation point me. Jeez. Holy moly. She sure as hell did. Shame on her. I'm going to unfollow her on IG, man.
Yeah. I'm sure she'll do it.
She probably doesn't even know it's me. Casey, I think she's talking about Clyde Lewis. Yeah, I couldn't remember his name either. B-Dub says it was George Norrie. Okay. I don't know. I didn't hear it. Brenda needs her own show on MNC. Well, okay. The problem with Brenda having her own show on MNC is that we take commercial breaks, and I don't think she would hit one of them. So, Casey, what in the world has happened in 95.3? I don't know, John. What are you talking about? I mean, we are 95.4 now. I'm kidding. We're not. What do you mean? You can't ask an open-ended question like that. I don't know what to answer. Shootings never happen here, dude. South Bend. I don't know. I don't know. But we have never had a shooting in South Bend, dude. Never. Now in Elkhart, where I live, that's another ballgame. Got plenty of those. And don't forget to go to Redbeard Jerky and buy some stuff from them, so that way they can stay open. No, you just okay. I had to pull it up. Okay, I didn't have it. I had to have all the information about it. You told me about it right when we were coming on the air, so I have to have time to pull it up. I can't do it in real time half the time. Okay, since I can't use, I brought the light in. Like I don't even need it. I don't know. Maybe you kind of do it. Might be able to get away with it today. Oh my God. What a day. What a day. What a day. I'm so freaking tired. I am so tired. Yeah, I think it's on Cassopolis. Non-stop commercials. Okay, so that's the last half hour, John, and that's just because of the O'Reilly thing. We're working on it, man. We're trying to figure out how to get that that last half hour working properly. Because Bill O'Reilly took 10 minutes of the show, but what we have is our salespeople really pack the last half hour of the program because there's so many people listening. So when they sell a package to somebody, they're like, well, the last half hour of the program has this many people. So we have all of these commercials that run in that last half hour, and right now what that's doing is creating extra long breaks in a half hour that's now been shortened. So we're working on, once the schedules and stuff get reset, it'll be a lot better, but we're working on it. So sorry. That's why I joke about it all the time. Well, okay, Redbeard, I know that they have a couple of places that carry it, but I'm not familiar with all of their vendors. So I don't know if they have anybody in Mishawaka who sells it. But if you ever find yourself up in Elkhart, stop by and pick some stuff up. Not a problem, John. Yeah, it's good. It's good. If you're a jerky eater, you're going to appreciate it. If you're not a jerky eater, you'll probably look at it and go, oh, sticker shock, because you're used to paying $7 or something for a 2.85 ounce bag. But it's not, the quality is not there. This is real muscle, so it's not ground up stuff. So it's really, really high quality. And when you have one of these smaller bags, like if I eat one of those standard grocery store bags, it doesn't fill me up. It might take the edge off, but it doesn't fill me up. One of these bags fills me up. Like I was stuffed earlier because I had the hickory bag. Ugh. O'Reilly segment is funding the new TriCaster and green screen. I wish I was getting paid for that, but I'm not getting paid for that.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that
the noise ads are kicking in. Speaking of, I'm due for a noise ad. So I have Mishawaka Family Insurance.
But is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I shopped the many highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $27 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-597-0315.
Ooh, Tulsi responded to Hillary. You're the queen of warmongers.
800-597-0315.
Coming from a veteran, too.
Since 1985.
Somebody who actually was around Sniper Fire to somebody who lied about being around Sniper Fire. Interesting.
From the first step to the final phase, industrial and commercial electrical done right. This is
Casey Hendrickson on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. It is open lines. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. Now is your opportunity to call about any topic that you want. From now until the end of the show, I turn it over to you. And again, we will take those calls in the order that we receive them. In the meantime, most of you have a car. Most of you have a house, whether you're renting or you own. And some of you even have businesses, right? So all of you are also alive. If you're listening to this program, you might need life insurance. And that's where Mishawaka Family Insurance comes in. They provide all of those services and much more. Now, a lot of people, just to avoid the hassle, they hop online and they try to get an online quote. And they do it that way. The problem with that is you don't really have somebody there helping you. They're trying to sell you pre-packages that are going to be good for maybe the average person, but they may not be the best option for you. And so when you go into a place like Mishawaka Family Insurance and you sit down with an expert and you're able to go ahead and answer a couple of questions and give them an idea of what you're actually looking for, what coverages you're looking to get, they're able to put together a package that is very detailed and skewed towards what you need. And what that can do is that can actually save you a ton of money while maximizing the amount of protection that you need to get, as opposed to one of these cookie cutter plans you get online, which is probably going to cost you more anyway. You're going to have less customer service, and it's not going to be a custom tailored package that actually fits your needs. That's where Mishawaka Family Insurance comes in. That's the big difference there. You're going to go in, they're going to ask you some questions, and it's not this big drawn out process like people think it is. I know it used to be that way. It's not anymore. You don't have to worry about that. And when something goes wrong, if something goes wrong, God forbid something goes wrong, you can pick up the phone and guess what? You're going to have a real human being on the other end. You're not going to have a bot telling you to send them a Facebook message. You're not going to have an answering service. You're not going to have the phone call run around thing where you get bounced from department to department and then get disconnected and have to call back. You don't have to worry about that with Mishawaka Family Insurance. So you can save money. You get person-to-person customer service. And guess what? They're local. They're right here in our community. They know what works in our community and what you need to consider in our community. Whereas somebody who is in another state, possibly another country, selling you that insurance plan, they're not going to have that expertise. Visit them online at MishawakaFamilyInsurance.com, or you can give them a call at 231-1500. That's 231-1500. When you contact Mishawaka Family Insurance, this is very important, let them know that I sent you, please. Okay, Mishawaka Family Insurance. Okay, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. To the phone lines we go for open lines. We've got Scott. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir. I know I got to hurry because you have time. Number one, thank you for everything you do. I mean, you're a few that give everything straight. I listen to you all the time.
Thank you.
I'll be quick. I just wanted to say that I'm so tired. We're so tired of this Democratic thing and Trump. You know, I don't mind if you get on Trump for things he does. He's not perfect. I know that. But he's the first president since probably, 50 years that has actually accomplished something for the normal person like myself. I mean, it says in the Bible, when the government can't run the people, I am coming. And you know what? They are destroying our country, the Democratic Party. Now, not only that, though, Republicans, too, have to get a spine. There's a lot of them neutral. That's not going to work. You know, Trump's trying to do something for us, you know, and they don't want to. We pay them, and it's ridiculous. It's just getting ridiculous. Term limits. We have to have term limits. You can't keep these old people in there and expect to change as the times change. You know, and that's basically what I want to say is it's got to stop. And I hope the American people will stand up and make them stop this goofy crap. And there shouldn't be any legal gangs. Democratic, Republican parties, to me, are legal gangs. They are legal to do that. There shouldn't be there should be no Democratic or Republican or nobody. I'm going to vote you in for what you're going to do for the American people and your character. That's why I'm voting you. I don't care what you're with, or a party, or a gang, or the Blackhawks, or what. No, that's not what we're doing here. So we let this thing go so long that now we're paying the price. I just hope sometime, I hope to God he gets another election, which we need. And I hope after that, we're going to be in trouble if the Democratic Party takes over. Thank you for everything you've done. I listen to you every day, and you're awesome.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate the call.
Bless you and your family.
Thank you. You too. Thank you. I mean, it's, well, and look, we talked about this tribalism stuff quite a bit. Okay. So serving in Congress used to be one of those things where, you went for a short period of time. Okay. It was a burden to you. So you gave up your job. You distanced yourself from your family in many circumstances. You went to Washington, D.C. You served your community for the terms, and then you came home and you picked up your life. It used to be an inconvenience and a burden. Now it's a career path. It's something to strive to because you go in not having money and you come out very wealthy. It is, when you get elected to Congress, it is a path to wealth. And that's why people want to do it. It shouldn't be that way, but that's the way that it is. And we've given you numerous examples of that. As far as the tribalism stuff is concerned, again, I'm in the camp that I think things are going to get worse before they get better. I hope that I am wrong about that. People have asked me, hey, Casey, when Trump wins the second term, if he wins the second term, do you think they're going to realize that, okay, we went too far and we can't? And no, I don't. I think they're going to blame Pelosi, and they're going to turn on the old guard in the Democratic Party as not being radical enough and as impeding their efforts, and the AOCs are going to take over. AOC is a young woman. She's going to be around for a long time. I don't anticipate this going away. Now, if there is some kind of a mass expulsion of Democrats in D.C., which I don't see happening, okay? I'm just giving you a theory. If there's some kind of a mass expulsion of Democrats in D.C., and they, like Republicans at one point in time, were wandering in the wilderness, yeah, maybe I could see them adjusting their policies. But look at what's happening with Tulsi Gabbard, okay? Like I said, I disagree with Tulsi Gabbard like 80% of the time. But I like her personally. I respect her greatly. She's not a lunatic, okay? And look how they're treating her. Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris are calling her a Russian agent. This is a woman who honorably served her country. She's a veteran. She serves in Congress. She's in the House of Representatives in one of the bluest states in Hawaii. And here you have the Democratic Party just taking a crap on her all the time. And she hasn't done anything, ladies and gentlemen, other than point out that, okay, well, Kamala Harris says this about people, doing time, but she was a prosecutor and threw a bunch of people behind bars. And she was known for being very aggressive on these charges that she now says are overburdening the system. So when did she change? Don't you think that's a fair question in an election where you've got a prosecutor who is lying about their dope use and was responsible for putting people behind bars for the laws that she now says need to be changed? But she was known for maximizing penalties on those laws. I think that's a fair question, don't you? Tulsi Gabbard hasn't done anything to deserve the scorn of the Democratic Party, and yet she's getting it. And that is because moderate Democrat's not the right terminology. She's a traditional Democrat. So she's on the political left, undoubtedly so. She's just not an insane person. And because she doesn't conduct herself that way, they can't have her. You look at West last time around. West is a well-respected, veteran, somebody who had a lot of foreign policy credentials at a time where we needed foreign policy. And the Democrats wanted nothing to do with the man because he wasn't crazy. So there's just a big gap here. And term limits, I think, are a big part of it. The last caller's right. You've now turned career politicians, and the entire goal is to make sure that they stay in Washington, D.C. And the only way they can do that is to radicalize their base, so that way their base, no matter what, they turn them into kind of like a cult, and they will vote for them no matter what they do. That's the sad part. And unfortunately, both sides have succeeded in doing this. All right, we've got more open lines coming up on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Bypass backups and toll road.
Casey Hendrickson.
Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather.
Who's that guy that ran against Walorski again?
6 years of exceptional food, tremendous service, and great people. Visit Prime Table today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
Your home comfort experts, heating specialists.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, the old guy.
I don't know his name.
Weekend into early next week, at least Monday. Beyond Monday, temperatures do fall off, courtesy of a strong fall system. We've got low 60s on Saturday with a few extra clouds during the afternoon. Not a bad day. Certainly nice to get out, do some raking, maybe mow the lawn, or pumpkin head to the house, or anything outdoors you're fine. Same with Sunday, 65, some clouds.
Mel Hall.
Windy on Monday. We're still mild in the 60s, but rain.
I think a perfect example of what I just said, and I'll say this on the show, is Mel Hall. Remember when Mel Hall announced that he was going to run against Jackie Walorski, and he was going to be the Democratic candidate, right? And so the South Bend Tribune went to Mel Hall and said, so what are some of the things you disagree with her on policy-wise, and why are you running against her? And he said he didn't know. So he's like, I don't know enough about her policy positions to know what I agree with or disagree with. Okay, then why are you running? You're just running because she's a Republican and you're a Democrat. What if you agreed with Jackie Walorski 80 to 90% of the time? But you had no idea because you didn't bother to look at it. You know, that's the type of crap that irritates me. Makes no sense. What else do I have live read-wise? We're finished.
Oh, yeah, per bucko, Reds.
Per bucko. Yeah.
Now it's time for the taste of craft beer. Chris's Craft
What is
Corner.
the special today at Per bucko?
Welcome to Chris's Craft Corner. Let's have a beer. Today we're going to mix things up.
$5 sangria.
About a style that I
There
feel
you
like
go,
the
ladies.
craft
Get it
community
on.
rallied around, and that's the hard seltzers. And I feel like if we're going to talk here about a hard seltzer, it's got to be a fun hard seltzer. We're going to talk about Natural Light Seltzer. 2 fun flavors.
Natural Light Seltzer. There you go. Okay? Now you got a Natural Light product right there on the show. And you guys can stop complaining about it.
They're not your normal seltzers. They have a little bit more in the calorie department. However, the flavor makes up for all of that, and they have a higher ABV coming in.
That is true, Stymie.
Nose like this, it really helps accentuate the flavor that's there.
Yes, it is sexist.
And with the Aloha Beach,
Haven't you heard? I'm a sexist.
Peach mango really smells like peach rings, the candy that you grew up with. When you take the drink, it kind of has, if you would suck the sugar off the peach ring and then just chew the gummy part that's left.
Yeah, AOC is actually in a little trouble. But, you know, again, her wing of the party, her type.
The names are great. Aloha Beaches is something that I've had yelled at me several times when golfing, when I end up in the sand trap, but perfect beer for perfect seltzer, I guess, in this case, for outdoors when it's warm. But I think even when it's cold out, these are going to stand up.
Corona's a Mexican beer. That's
In
racist.
true natty fashion, it's not going to look too flashy.
Natty fashion.
White with a couple of colors, just says natty seltzer. Keep it simple. When cherry and lime become best friends, and when mango and peach go beach mode. So you can get this in your favorite grocery store or liquor store, and you can find it in a lot of bars. This has been Chris's Craft Corner. Thanks for sharing a couple of seltzers with me. Now go share some with someone else.
Look for the craft beers Chris talks about, and listen to Chris's Craft Corner
Mm-hmm.
on MNC.
Message and data rates may apply. Please do not touch the drive. See purple.com for terms and conditions.
And now for an important announcement. Do you, or does someone you
Mhm.
know, sweat the bed? Do you ever wake up feeling like you've been sleeping on a slip and slide? Sweating the bed is a serious but a common problem that affects your sleep, health, and happiness. Plus, it's just plain gross. But it's not you. It's your mental.
What is
it?
I don't know, man.
It's called Purple. Purple
Oh,
is
it's a
the
purple
only
commercial.
place
It's the comedy thing. It's a purple bed commercial. So it's meant to be funny.
airflow freely so you sleep cool. Side effects of sleeping on purple.
So have you seen the Batwoman
Well, honestly, smelling better.
ratings yet? Not television ratings, but critics ratings. Critics love Batwoman. Users think it's the worst steaming pile of crap ever. So what is that, 4 or 5 movies here in the past month or two? Or shows, whatever, movies and shows, where the critics were pushing one way, but in fact the audience was completely different? Yeah, there's no coordination, folks. She's 5'7" and maybe weighs 100 pounds. She's not kicking any grown man's butt. It's not happening. Sorry. She certainly isn't taking out a gang of grown men. Not going to happen.
Fresh daily to keep you coming back week after week. Try Mexican and American breakfast classics with some new items mixed in.
Of course, the first time Batman went out, he got his butt kicked. First time Spider-Man went out, he got his butt kicked. I didn't watch either of the 2 episodes of hers, but I would be willing to bet money she didn't get her butt kicked the first time she went out. But I don't know. But I'm willing to bet Joe's salary on it.
I'm excited. That's what I have.
That's right. You know it.
The wellness of our community is at the center.
All right, I got to get you this update on the blackberries here, and then I'll go back to the phone lines after my read.
For a limited time, Goshen Health is offering a free in-home colorectal cancer screening test for those who qualify.
Yes, I do. Got to tell everybody about sangria, man.
Visit shareastool.com for more information.
Ladies of the night got to get their drink on. They got a beautiful bar at Perbaco's for the Cougars to be sliding up to Strange over there. Man, it's a good opportunity. Family-friendly eating.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. Here's the deal. We all like Italian food. If you don't like Italian food, I don't know what to tell you. We all like Italian food. You're probably French if you don't like Italian food, Joe says. Everybody loves Italian food. Now, what's the best part about Italian food? The foofy little gourmet stuff that doesn't fill you up, or the family-style Italian food? That's what you want, right? And that's what Bruno's Per Bacco gives you in Elkhart, right? They give you that amazing homemade Italian food with large portions, because remember, size does matter at Per Bacco's. And today's Friday, so the special on Friday and Saturday are $5 sangrias. I think my wife is probably going to drag me out either tonight or tomorrow because she loves sangria. So $5 sangrias over at Bruno's Per Bacco. And again, you can visit them online. You can take a look at the entire menu, brunosperbacco.com. I've got the full menu there. You can make reservations. They do catering. It's just an amazing place. Plus, it's a family-friendly place. And, when I was looking for another restaurant to be able to go ahead and do these reads for, I really wanted a place that, one, was in my community, they're in Elkhart, and also would allow me to actually bring my family. That was great to be able to bring the kids. And, they got amazing pizza there. I had tons of people send me text messages yesterday saying that they have the best pizza in town or one of the best pizzas in town. People absolutely love their food. So again, go online, brunosperbacco.com, make your reservations, head on out there, get yourself some great family-style, authentic Italian food today. Let them know that I sent you too, by the way. All right, so quick little update. I promised Brenda an update on the blackberries, and then I got off on a little bit of a tangent, and then I'll go back to the phone lines. The Attorney General, that's Barr, his special Russia investigator, obtained blackberries that are tied to the launch of the FBI Russia Trump probe. It was a special investigator, John Durham, who acquired 2 blackberries used by Joseph Mifsud, the Maltese professor who jump-started the FBI's long Russia probe into President Trump's campaign. Sidney Powell, attorney for retired Army Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, filed a court motion on Monday disclosing the phone's existence while tying them to Western intelligence, not Russian intelligence. She told the Washington Times on Thursday that she has confirmed that it was Mr. Durham's office who obtained them. Attorney General William Barr assigned Mr. Durham, the U.S. Attorney for Connecticut, the mission of finding out the origins of the FBI's counterintelligence investigation known as Crossfire Hurricane. She told the Times that a source, whom she declined to identify, told her about the blackberries, and now Barr has those 2 blackberries, which nobody knew about up until now. This is huge. Now remember, Durham was appointed. He's a U.S. attorney. When he was appointed, that means one thing. They believe there's possible criminal activity that needs to be charged and prosecuted. Because you can appoint the inspector general to do this, but that is procedural. It's not criminal. Durham is a U.S. attorney. He can take people to jail if he wants. Okay? He can file charges, criminal charges. So this is a very serious investigation. That is a huge break in that investigation. And again, the allegation is that these are tied to Western intelligence, not Russian. The people have been saying that Mifsud is a Russian agent for some time. The evidence seems to suggest that he is a Western agent now. So perhaps he was working both sides. We don't know, but the evidence has been very interesting to say the least. Keep an eye on this BlackBerry story. All right, to the phone lines we go. JR, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Hi, how you doing?
Doing well. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to say that I travel the toll road every day. I drive a truck for a really good company, and a majority of our drivers listen to you every day.
Oh, wow. That means a lot.
I wanted to say that there's something that we all noticed happening about 2 years ago, them spraying up in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
Today, they've been spraying really heavy. I mean, you can't even ignore it anymore. I'm tracking 4 planes right now flying east to west that are laying down a really thick cloud. I mean, it's really heavy today.
Now, how high up are the planes? Is it the vapor or is it actual spraying?
They're up there where the jet airliners are.
Uh-huh.
They're not down where the storm clouds are.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay. They're way up there.
Yeah.
Now, you can't ignore it anymore. I mean, this is the heaviest that they've ever hit us in northern part of Indiana. I mean, it's just unbelievable. You can't even ignore it.
Now, did you track this before the last 2 years, or is this just something that you've started paying attention to?
We've been watching it for the last 2 years, you know, and here and there, you know, but today, I mean, what you see out there today, that's all Chem. Those aren't clouds. I mean, when we left this morning, the sky was blue, and now it's just gone the crap. But I only want to ask you 2 questions. I'm gonna get off the line.
Sure.
We want to know what you think about this because we're going to be breathing this stuff in, and why the media doesn't talk about something like this. I mean, this is happening, and that's what we'd like to know. And I'm
all right. I'll tell you what. I'll hang up and then I'll answer. But thank you for the call. Appreciate you listening, JR. Thank you so much. Now, obviously, you know, and the reason I asked for the altitude is because there are instances where they do spray this stuff. Okay, he's talking about chemtrails, which are usually contrails, and contrails, of course, are a normal byproduct of the planes flying in the atmosphere. I've got a pilot in the family, and I always enjoy having conversations with him about this because he finds this to be so amusing. I know that a lot of people are genuinely afraid of this, okay? Now, there is some real things that happen that they do spray in the air. There is a thing called cloud seeding. That does happen, okay? Cloud seeding is a thing designed to either accelerate rain or break up rain, things like that, where you can put things in the cloud. A lot of times it is little reflectors and things of that nature. California did this before. I think it was the Olympics, or I don't know, one of the maybe it was the Super Bowl or something like that, some big event when Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor. That's a real thing that does happen. Then we also had Michigan spraying here recently for the mosquito stuff. So there is real spraying that happens too. And because there are legitimate things that are sprayed, which are chemicals or some substance and things like that, a lot of people get really concerned that what the jet airlines are doing is a chemtrail, when in fact it's a contrail, which is a normal, natural thing. But again, without seeing the actual plane, I wouldn't be able to tell you which one it was. Generally, cloud seeding is going to be lower altitude than what you're talking about with passenger jets being at 30,000 feet and things of that nature. So everything that I have looked into about so-called chemtrails over the years has always led me back to one glaring answer. It is a figment of people's imagination, and it is pseudoscience to explain it. It is a contrail. And again, it doesn't mean that there aren't actual things that planes do up in the sky to do these things, because seeding is a real thing that does happen. And sometimes people will see their very first cloud seeding happening, and they assume that all planes are now doing that. And that is generally, I say generally, not the case, because I guess technically there's a 1% chance I'm wrong, right? But no, you're seeing contrails, not chemtrails, but I doubt that I have alleviated your concerns about it. All right, we've got more open lines coming up on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
Busting up the chemtrails. Ooh. We're just going to be able to take those 2 calls, man. We're not going to be able to get anybody else.
Michiana's news channel. Hello. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to take any more callers today other than the ones that we have already lined up. But you can call us next week at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, let's just do it at 4 o'clock next week.
The crash has distinctive brake lights with the horizontal sectional lighting at the front area. Police are also asking that anybody who witnessed the incident and has not yet talked to police to please do so. If you have information about the vehicle or suspect driver, contact the Joseph County Alcohol Crash Team, Michiana Crime Stoppers, or your local police department.
They're going the wrong way for it to be a contrail. It has to be a chemtrail. It's the only reasonable explanation.
Hey, look, I think I get to use my light. My dollar store light works.
Oh boy.
They're going the wrong way for it to be a contrail.
Michiana's news channel. Hello.
The Hoosier state's unemployment rate dropped in September to 3.2%. The last time the state's rate was lower than 3.2% was in December.
Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to take any more callers today, other than the ones that we already signed up.
Alex.
We just don't have time.
We've got a live
You
one.
can call us next week at 4 o'clock, and we'll be ready to take callers again for open lines. Fridays at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, we're changing it to 4.
News is powered by
Goodbye.
Grill. Make plans this week to experience the unmatched style of Temper Grill.
Oh boy.
Do you want to talk about the consultant from Chicago?
Oh, so she waited all this time and she didn't get through? I even opened it up a half hour early for her, man. Ah, bummer.
Someone who probably has something to actually talk about.
Set of conspiracies.
Conspiracies will make me laugh and make me happy.
I don't.
Worst things that people can call it.
I don't know. The best layman's explanation that I've had from a pilot on what a contrail is, like, look, it's cold outside in the morning. You go outside, you start your car. Your car blows smoke like a dragon until it warms up because it's hitting the cold air. It's the same thing. So there's just, there's less atmosphere, so it stays condensed longer, dissipates.
They're trying to poison us to control us.
I mean, that's probably true, but they're poisoning you through soy and soy lecithin in all of your food. They don't need to spend all of the money. Yeah, I know. With soy, you don't need to spend all the extra money to fly a damn airplane to poison all of us. They're doing it in the food supply.
Michiana's News Channel. Would you like to talk to Casey?
Oh boy.
Unfortunately, we're just not going to be able to take any more callers. We just don't have the time. You can call us next Friday at 4 o'clock during open lines. You can take your call then.
63 with a few extra clouds in the afternoon on Saturday. 65.
Second trailer trying to call in, or someone coming.
Okay, what are the betting odds that they're the same people as the flat Earth people? What are?
Oh man!
Can you have a chemtrail if the Earth is flat?
Just kidding.
I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering how it works.
And his mood while always satisfying your taste buds. Visit Tuesday nights for half-price wine bottles. Wednesday for $2 beer night. Visit Thursdays to check out Roman's ridiculous list. Or upgrade your evenings Tuesdays through Saturdays.
Oh, do I even check my text messages?
Yes. For any occasion. Reservations required. 21 and up. Explore our menu. Buy gift cards. Or make a simple dinner reservation at TemperGranger.com. Unplug. Relax with a truly unforgettable dining experience.
People have lost their minds, Casey. I stopped in for fuel at Murphy's Oil in Niles. Fuel truck is in the lot delivering fuel. Driver pulls up beside me and starts fueling. Passenger hops out of the car between us and lights up. Fuel truck driver asks her to walk away so we don't fuel up, so we don't blow up. And she gets upset.
See, I told you should.
Ionization due to sunspots or lack thereof cause contrails to not evaporate. I'm not getting into this, okay? We're gonna do
flat earthers about a year ago.
So, I've done whole shows on chemtrails. See, I used to do this thing on Saturdays where I would open up to a conspiracy and I would say, if you believe it, convince me. And I would give them the entire show to convince me. And then I would have, of course, all my information up and we would argue against it. And I've done many of them on chemtrails and contrails, but I don't have the time to really go into all of it. And I have to refresh my memory on a bunch of it too. So, but it's always fun. Always fun.
40.
Chemtrails appear in the McRib Returns. Coincidence? I noticed McRib was back.
Yeah, but McRib's still medium.
It's what?
Still medium.
Yeah. It used to be so good.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Used to love getting a ribwich.
Now, It's all about nacho fries. My generation's McRib.
Okay, but no, you don't get to claim nacho fries because nacho fries were a huge thing when I was a kid.
Well, guess what?
You don't get to claim it.
You have to get over it.
They're trying to claim nacho fries.
Well,
what the hell?
Back now, and no one else cares except you.
Well, you guys gonna try and friggin' copyright putting tortilla chips with melted cheese on it too? You gonna try and copyright that?
Nachos are not that good.
With some bacon bits on those fries? Make them some loaded fries? Okay, did you guys, I came so close to posting this. Did you guys watch the people in London pull the people off of the train and beat the tar out of them? The climate protesters? Did you watch that? Climate protesters climbed on top of the trains and stopped all of the trains in morning rush hour. So the commuters, which have been dealing with this for like how many weeks now? They've been dealing with these friggin' climate protesters. They got up on the train and they threw the climate protesters off and they beat them up because they wanted to go to work. So I came so close to posting it, and I'm like, somebody's gonna have a real hissy fit about this, and I don't know if I want to deal with it right before a weekend, so I didn't.
Instead, you're pissing off conspiracy.
I was very polite in what I said to him. I was very polite. I even said, I doubt that I have alleviated your concerns, or something to the effect of it.
Yeah, because
I didn't
agree with him, Casey.
I didn't call him a nut.
Everybody.
Didn't call him a nut. I didn't do any of that.
From the final phase electric studios, from the first step to the final phase, industrial and commercial electrical.
Done right. This is Casey Hendrickson.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. I want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle. Mention me, get half off your range time. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information. Somebody sent me a text and said that the people have lost their mind. I was stopped for fuel at a gas station in Niles. The fuel truck is here delivering fuel. A driver pulls up beside me, starts pumping gas. The passenger gets out, lights up a cigarette in between us. The fuel truck driver asks her to walk away so we don't blow up, and she gets upset at him. Back to the phones we go. Mike, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hi.
Good afternoon to you. I have just one item that bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
That I keep hearing people talking about the Democratic Party,
mm-hmm.
the Democratic debate, the Democratic candidates.
Mm-hmm.
And it really should be the Democrat Party,
mm-hmm.
Democrat
mm-hmm.
debates, Democrat candidates.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they keep saying Democratic?
Actually, yeah, and this goes back many, many years, and Rush Limbaugh is very successful at doing this. Democratic is actually the proper usage, and they consider it a slight and an insult to call it Democrat instead of Democratic, and so that's why Rush Limbaugh calls him Democrat, because he's slighting them. But I get this call periodically, and if you look it up, it will say Democratic. That's their official terminology. That's their official name. But totally get the confusion. But really, it's just been years and years and years of Rush and others successfully jabbing them. Many years ago, when I was relatively new in radio, I called the local Democratic Party, and I called them Democrat Party, and they got really mad at me, really upset.
Yeah, but Republic is a system. Democratic is a system.
Yeah,
not people.
Yeah, as far as the proper vernacular, you're probably right. As far as what they themselves officially are supposed to be called based on the name that they chose for themselves, Democratic is what's supposed to be used. But vernacular-wise, you're probably correct.
Yeah, but sure, they'd like the name Democratic. They're Democratic, and the rest of us aren't. Yeah,
I
just don't like it when they use that.
Hey, you know what? Hey, keep using Democrat, because I'm telling you, it irritates them like no end. They hate it. They really do. So by all means, keep using it. Okay. Hey, Mike, thank you for being so patient. I know you're waiting for a long time. Thank you.
All right.
You take care. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Oh. Oh, yeah. I am tired.
Well, experts, heating specialists, 5-day forecast.
Nice, mild fall weather here for the weekend.
Okay.
Into early next week, at least Monday. Beyond Monday, fall off.
You're wrong, Casey.
About what?
Well, you were just on
Saturday. Oh, okay.
Extra clouds during the afternoon. Not a bad day. Certainly nice to get out.
Yup, I've done the whole history of that one too. I assure you, it's Democratic. I get it. I get it a lot. It periodically, a couple times a year, somebody will call and talk about it. But it is Democratic.
Tuesday behind that front, much cooler, 52. Next Wednesday, 57, sun and clouds. From the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Tyler Seagreen.
The Building Showcase is back. Big C Lumber and the Home Builders Association of St. Joe Valley invite you to come visit the homes featured in the Fall Showcase this Saturday and Sunday, 1 to 6 each day. Come see what we're building and where we're building. 8 different builders and 15 homes throughout Michiana. All the details and
There's a whole Wikipedia page devoted to it. Democrat Party epithet. So there you go. It goes through the whole history of where it came from.
Members of the Home Builders Association of St. Joseph Valley are the builders, remodelers, and industry professionals who promote the American dream of home ownership in our community. We believe in quality housing and home ownership opportunities for all. And we're dedicated to providing our members with the business tools, professional development, and industry connections they need to make an impact in our community and grow their business. Visit hbasjv.com to learn more about the benefits of joining the Home Builders Association of St. Joseph Valley.
Men, do you want to know the dirty little secret? The prostate pill industry hopes you never find out. Well, now you can, thanks to the Men's Guide to Prostate Secrets.
Ooh, the Men's Guide to Prostate Secrets. That sounds like a fun, free ebook.
Tower Urology Group at Cedar
Just try to
Sinai
relax.
Medical Center. In this guide, you will learn the truth about the PSA test. Why most prostate pills
PS what?
don't work. Why the
PSA.
saw palmetto pills at the drugstore are worthless. The 7 biggest mistakes.
Mixed soy
most
is
men
fake
make
barbecue
to provide
sauce.
moves to destroy your prostate. How to stop getting
Yeah,
pregnant.
it's
The dirty
totally different patty, totally different sauce than what it was when I was a kid. Totally different.
$25 on Amazon, but right now you can get a free copy. Just call our
That's why I've started referring to the old McRib as the Rib Witch, because that's the real sandwich. Of course, the Rib Witch is from The Simpsons, which was an homage to the real McRib.
Call now and get your free copy. 1-800-500-2210.
ProstateReport.com.
In the current crazy political climate, Mary Olson, Elkhart
Ooh, God.
Large, it's a refreshing
Sorry, folks.
for all of us. Mary Olson has a listening ear that casts her votes carefully for what is best for Elkhart and its residents. On November 5th, a vote for Mary Olson is a vote for a strong Elkhart.
I was up the other day because Bree was throwing up. Then I had to get up early to take someone to the doctors early yesterday. And today, I was in the middle of the night. Bree woke me up again. Then I couldn't go back to bed. I'm tired. I'm ready for the weekend right now.
Breaking news and weather station.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Democrat Party is an epithet for the Democratic Party in the United States used in a disparaging fashion by the party's opponents. While historical and occasional current usage includes non-hostile appearances, the term has grown in its negative use since the 1940s, in particular by members of the Republican Party in party platforms, partisan speeches, and press releases, as well as by conservative commentators. And language expert Roy Copperwood said that it was used by Republicans who disliked the implication that Democratic Party implied to listeners that Democrats are somehow the anointed custodians of the concept of democracy. So there's the epithet history of that, just in case you were curious. You know, going back to what one of the previous callers was talking about with tribalism and things of that nature, I bring this up as an example on a regular basis, but I want to talk about Mel Hall. Now, Mel Hall ran against Jackie Walorski. Now, for those of you who don't remember, Mel Hall got shellacked. And Mel Hall was recruited to run against Jackie, and Jackie's quickly solidifying her position, becoming more and more difficult to beat. But Mel Hall was interviewed when he was first announced, as the person who's going to run against Jackie Walorski. And the Tribune, to their credit, said, all right, what are some of the policy positions that you disagree with Jackie Walorski on? And his answer was, I don't know. He said he didn't know enough about her policy positions to be able to tell the newspaper what he agreed and disagreed with her on, which means he wasn't running against her because he thought that she was a bad representative or that he disagreed with her policy positions. He was only running against her because she was Republican bad and he was Democrat good. That was the only reason that he was running against them. I mean, unless you want to, talk about maybe wealth and ego or whatever. But I always thought that that was a really staggering admission that somebody who has just announced that they are going to be running against the incumbent, and when asked, okay, why are you running against them? Their answer is, I don't know. No idea. That always bothered me. That's the wrong reason to run against somebody, and you shouldn't run against somebody for that reason. But again, tribalism is what gets us in that position. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Now it's time for the O'Reilly Update with Bill O'Reilly.
All righty. Who dilly, man? Who dilly? All right, I'm going to turn this off. Who? I can't see. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a minute. If you have any questions or anything like that, I would love to answer them. You two happy? Appreciate that. B-dubs, you can certainly make that argument. Yep. The Democrats founded the KKK. The Democratic Party did not. Aha! Take care, Alex. Thanks for all you do, man. God, they answer some weird questions on Fan Mail Friday. What is the last thing you do before going to bed? That opens up a whole can of weird.
I look at my phone.
Yeah. Just, I don't know. Just a whole can of potential weird there. Had somebody call CBD lotion snake oil today, in spite of the scientific research that says otherwise, but it's funny. Thank you, Frank. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mike. Oh, I am ready. I am ready. Go pick up some medication. What should you order from Culver's? Well, do you like chicken or beef? Have you can get anything from Culver's and it'll be good. Have you tried that new pretzel bun? What is it? Is it like a barbecue?
It's a pretzel bun burger.
It's a what is it? Barbecue something or other? Culver's. Always remember to get ketchup when they ask you for ketchup because their burgers don't come with ketchup on them. God, what is that thing called? Their spicy chicken looked good to me too, but I'm looking on their website right now. Oh, here it is. Hold on a second. Hold on. The Pretzel Haas Pub Burger. Get that. That looks good. It is a satisfying stack under a pretzel bun. You got those Wisconsin cheese curds they have now, too. Pretzel and cheese go together famously on our new Pretzel Haas Pub Burger. Beneath our soft pretzel bun, you'll find two kinds of real Wisconsin cheddar, don't you know? Layered with fresh, never frozen beef and crispy bacon, topped off with tangy pickled onions and our signature bistro sauce. But it's only here for a limited time. You can get it in a single, a double, and a triple. There you go. That's what you should get, Tracy. Right there. Yep. The Pretzel Haas Pub Burger. There I help. You too, Jeffrey. Appreciate it. Oh, man. Well, I actually came through for you there. I came through for you. The Pretzel Haas Pub Burger. That looks pretty darn good. On a cheat day, I may get that one day. Oh, God. You know what I should do? Monterey. Was it in the system?
No, I didn't.
It wasn't in the system. And because I didn't eat it, I forgot it. All right, so I'll make a note here to do Monterey on Monday. Sorry, Megan. Everything got out of whack again. Here comes the wife. Okay. Hold on a second. Hello.
I know it's
Hi.
confusing, it's complicated, and it definitely isn't fun. That's why at Howard Bailey, we work with tax
All right,
professionals
I'm good.
to make sure you aren't paying
I'm good.
more in
I'm good.
taxes
Don't have to worry about it. I got Monterey. So
You deserve to know what's at stake, and you have the power to ensure your
Can you hear me?
retirement accounts are paying you. Don't do the IRS.
okay, I can't hear you. So I have Monterey. I'm good. So you don't need to worry about anything for me. But thank you so much for calling. Okay. All right. I'll get her medication and then I'll be home. All right. Bye. All righty. Holy smokes. Well, let me know how that Haas burger is, Tracy, because I'm kind of curious myself. It looks good. All right. I'm going to go ahead and bounce out. Thank you once again, everybody, for tuning in and supporting the stream. I certainly hope that you have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget, Elkhart Indian Motorcycle, this weekend, they have the chili cook-off, okay? They're going to be judging on various kinds of chili, cornbread, and dessert. Plus, it's at Elkhart Indian Motorcycle, so you know it's going to be a fun time. Go to elkhartindianmotorcycle.com to get more information about that. Redbeard Beef Jerky in Elkhart. Remember my boys out there, they got robbed, and they had to pay for the equipment, replace all of that, so they have politely asked for people to come out and buy more than their usual supply of beef jerky to help them recoup some of the costs that they had to get in repairing the damage and replacing some of the stolen equipment. And again, they're located in Elkhart. Redbeard Beef Jerky. They are fantastic too, by the way. So if I run into you over the weekend, that'll be great. I look forward to it. But you have a wonderful weekend.